Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Buzz, buzz, babies! It's a Wednesday night. We're here again because this is what we do. Wednesday night at 9, we go live. We're going to talk comics, maybe games, maybe bullshit. I don't know. Tonight we're going to talk comics. Some cool ones, by the way. First of all, hi. How's it? I've had a day. My dad, how do you lock yourself out of your phone and your email on a Google device? Like you're done. You're dead. You're dead to the world. I've tried. We've called every. That defeated me today. We're not gonna let that defeat the stream, because this is a stream powered by purity and love and nerdiness. All right, you know what? Let's bring out these guests. Right? You guys want to meet some cool? You want to meet some cool nerds? I should always plan how I bring these people out, because I always got to look around and be like, who comes first? I don't know. All right, you know what? Let's see. He's a returning guest. He's a returning guest. He owns a really cool studio. He's a great letterer. He's got some cool books to talk about. He also is pretty good at music. Let's bring him out, Mr. John Westhoff!
Well, look who's come crawling back to the internet.
I know. I just couldn't stay gone.
We knew this day would come. We knew. Welcome back.
Can't get rid of me. I'm one of those fancy diseases that you get on a long weekend. That stays forever. This shit's gonna be great. I'm still gonna be streaming. How you doing, bud? What's you got? I'm stoked to talk about your new project, but you've had some new books come out. Drumsticks of Doom is still going strong. You got new titles, new things. How's life? How you doing?
It's not too bad. I cannot complain, sir. Life is good. Comics are great, and I'm just happy to be a part of it all.
Hell yeah, at the end of the day, that's all you can do, right? That's why I came back. I got fired. I got kicked out of comics, so I had to come crawling back I had to be like, we'll go live on Wednesday, right? That's how you do it. That's how Saturday Night Live got started. I'm not 100% sure on that origin story, but you know what? Someone will do. I don't have a producer, so we can't fact check anything I say.
That's right.
We can't fact check anything for metrics anyway, right? We got another panel. We got a panel of people. We got a panel of people and folk. Can you guys tell what I was doing in the green room? Having a great time. All right, we got someone else. Who we got? All right. This guy I've known for a really long time. He's been a huge supporter of the show. Great nerd to get to know. But I've yet to have him on. And all of a sudden, he was making web comics, and he was like, no, fuck you. I'm working at Comixology now. Let's talk about it. And we're going to talk about Major Thomás. I got Omar Morales in the house, baby!
I'm still buzzing from that intro, man.
Star of Comixology Originals. They fired it. They got rid of everybody once they brought on Omar. They're like, we don't need anybody but Omar. Omar runs Comixology, and it's just him and Bill over there. No. Hi, what's up? I'm saying weird shit already. How you doing?
It's all good, man. No, there's tons of great new content coming out from Comixology. It's not just me, man.
No, it's for real. It's still, and I will die on this hill. I'm not subscribed to it now because I'm in a transition of finances, but there's that's a solid $6 a month. Comixology. There's so many books. There's Big 2 stuff, there's new indie stuff, and the Comixology Originals, which, as we're here to talk about, they're dropping the fucking bangers on the Comixology Originals. But yeah, how are you doing? You mentioned, I forgot, because again, I'm a poor now, right? But it's the eve of Switch 2.
That's
You're
right.
in your Nintendo gear. You've held it, you've touched it, you've caressed it. You may have even licked a cart. I don't know if they let you guys lick carts there.
It's got that extra bad taste, so the kids don't eat the small cartridges.
It tastes double bad.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. You got one coming in the mail tomorrow?
I got 2 coming in the mail tomorrow because my whole family was like, every computer, every phone, we were like, Walmart, who's got Best Buy, who's got Target, and so we should have 2 coming tomorrow. But just in case one gets canceled, we at least have the one. So yes,
there you go.
Switch
Oh,
to
awesome.
Eve.
Hey, and you're spending it with me, poor bastard. All right, well, whatever. We'll take it. We'll take it, sir. No, I'm so happy to have you, dude. It's a pleasure, and I'm very, very stoked to talk about your very, very excellent comic. But we got one more panel guest to bring out. She's been on the show before. She is part of a very cool studio called Attic Door Media, and they're here to talk about a new comic called Incident Report. Let's bring her out, Mary Puppo!
Hey!
Oh, shit, here we go!
I want you to introduce me at every single thing I ever do for the entire rest of my life. Like, that just, like, the serotonin went through the roof, man.
Boom.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I appreciate it. We got some people mouthing off already in the chat. Let's go say hi to them real quick too. What's up? We got K-pop in the house. What's up? Yes, comics and BS. Wow, John's in 2 places simultaneously. That shit's cray. Sarah Landauer, it's popping even though it's my mom. Hey, moms can have birthdays too. It means they're alive. Oh my God. What? Sorry to everyone who has a dead mom. Oh, fuck.
You know, I had that thought
I'm
in
sorry.
front of someone at a show this past weekend about Father's Day. And let me tell you, it's a moment.
Nice. And then we got, what's up? John, what's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in. All right. This is it. It can only get worse from here. The panel is here. You guys, you have some awesome books to talk about, and I'm real stoked, but before we get in there, I just, times are crazy right now, right? It's just like Kickstarter's fucking weird. Like marketing your comics are weird. Even when you're out, when you get out on a Omar, thank you, brain is still out there on Substack, on social media, hollering like, hey, here's the Comixology link. Hey, read my shit. Like, hey, let's go. By the way, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can read this excellent book for free. And you should quit watching the stream right now and just go read it, because it's better than I can talk in this book. It's like, I can talk pretty good. This book is a great ride. But how are you guys feeling about, promoting? I know, Mary, you guys just launched, and I know you recently funded. Omar, you've been getting great reviews. I know you've shared a lot. People are digging it. And John, you're on the last week hustling a campaign. So like, how's indie comics feel to start this shit show off?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
That's how you feel.
I mean, it's feeling good right now. Any day that you fund, I think, is always really exciting. And as Rylan said a couple weeks ago, like, Kickstarter has been very good to us. And conventions have been very good to us in a way that I think none of us expected. And getting to hang out with other people who make indie comics is honestly like one of the best marketing tools that we've found. Like, just talking, hanging out, trading books, getting to know other people, getting to work with other people. It's been pretty good.
Nice. How you feeling, Omar?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you're on Kickstarter, you get flooded with all these fly-by-night marketing companies who are like, I can help you fund. You're like, dude, you've never read a comic in your life, right? Get the hell out of here. But what I have found is, now that I'm on Amazon, on the Comixology platform, I'm getting the same kind of thing, but from people who are like Kindle book marketing experts, right? And so actually, you gave one of them the time of day and was like, all right, let's see how much you can do for me in this very niche kind of category. And they were like, oh, we can produce 120 pieces of content and we're going to get you 100 reviews. And I stopped them right there. I go, are you doing this through AI? Because if you are, I don't want any part of this. Ghosted, immediately ghosted. So that just tells you, dude, like it's hard to find human beings who know what they're talking about, and not just, robots who are pretending to know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Dude, I'm having a great time on Riverside, and like I've had a great time streaming, and I love the platform, and like it makes short creation real easy. But I had to talk to their robot, and I was like, I can't figure out why Facebook's not working right, and and I don't really give a shit about Facebook. Like it's like, I want Meta to like me, guys. Like I want my AI buddies. We want to hold hands together. That's my AI support voice, by the way. But you know,
A plus.
I'm like, oh, I want to. Can I talk to a real person? And then finally, it was like, do you want to talk to a real person? And then I was like, yeah, but now I have a work meeting, you know. And I was like, this is this. So like, the cool thing about AI was like, oh, you're not a real person. I can ask you a question and then do something, and if I come back 2 minutes later, you're not going to hang up on me, right? And then, but even that doesn't work. So it's all bullshit. It's all they fucked you with the cell phone. You know, I'm gonna go Joe Pesci on the world, man. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna shrink and get angrier. It's like turn into my dad. Oh, shit, the hard truth. There's a hard truth we just stumbled into, chat. I'm really sorry about that. And then, I remember running campaigns at the studio and stuff. That the spam is insane, and what's worse is the on Kickstarter spam, like the comments and the messages, you know, oh, you're not a backer, you're fucking trying to hustle me, you're trying to scam me, but you got to check that, because if you ignore all your messages, then you're an asshole, you know, and then it's like, then you don't care about the backers, you don't care about the community. And we care about the community, right, John Westhoff?
You can kind of tell the backers, you know, once you've done it enough times, it's like, all right, this one's, you know, leave it. But yeah, it is still annoying. You get excited. Oh, someone sent me a message. Nah, it's just... That's pretty much all it is now. All of social media and email management and all that is tough right now. It's tough to get the word out, but we appreciate people like you who help us bang them drum for indie comics.
What is the best, like, in your opinion, like, hard, like your feet on the ground? What's best for you recently? Is it like, I keep hearing like mailing lists? Mailing list is the way, and Substack seems to be like the easiest, cheapest way to do that. Are you guys, I think all of you, most of you are on that platform. Like, what are we thinking about?
Yeah, I've enjoyed Substack. I think of the email management systems, that's the best, because, you know, there's some interaction. People can comment, people can like, you know, if they're reading it or not. It's that's been a pretty good upgrade, since a lot of the other services have went to, you know, paid services, or they cap you at a really low amount, so that doesn't really help. So yeah, Substack's been a good addition for us in the last year and a half or so.
Nice.
Yeah, Substack has also been really good for us. We moved, I think, mid last year, and we try to like integrate like little stories, or like, hey, we're finding this works for us at conventions, or like this isn't working for us at conventions, because people enjoy reading that. We are cheating a little bit in that we have a marketing department. So when we go to conventions, we get people to sign up. We do email them photos of the dogs. But it has been really great not having to worry about like having to pay for another service, or having to like grow that list. Like, ooh, we hit a milestone. Oh no, now we have to pay more for this service than we were before, just because we're doing well. And then you can find us organically on Substack. If you're on our email list, don't have to go to another platform. You're just right there. Like, honestly, Substack has been pretty great.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Substack's a great way to stay connected, and but you know, I'm pretty busy, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I have done paid ads on Instagram just so I can have those running while I'm doing my day job and juggling my family and all these other things. And one thing that I found, which was a pleasant surprise, was when I was breaking down the audience, most of my audience was coming from like Latin American countries, which is perfect for the book, because the book Major Thomás is made entirely by Latino and Latina creators from all over the world. And so even though the US audience was a lot smaller than I thought it would be, I was gratified to see that, and I was grateful to have the stats to back it up. So the next time I run an ad, I can focus in more on those areas. So that's worked pretty well for me. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard so many hit and miss things about ads, but it also sounds like you're doing it a little more, like you're doing it smart, right? You're using it to like watch your research into certain markets, into certain areas, and with, you know, and you're using it to pay attention to that. You're not just like throwing a handful of money at it and a handful of graphics and just and saying like, you know, do what you will, because there is it's a finesse, right? You gotta, it's like that funnel marketing, right? You gotta like filter your shit down and get it into manageable thin tubes.
Yeah, it's great for A/B testing, right? Like, oh, this graphic resonated more, or this cover art resonated more, and then you could like really dial it in.
Nice. Sarah Landauer says she's in the process of figuring out Substack. Sarah, I need work, and if you pay me money, I'll show you. I'm just joking. If you ever have any questions, I'm sure myself or other people on this panel would love to help you. It's customizing gets weird, and I know that because I removed all my Blake's Buzz branding and replaced it with something stupidly for dumb reasons that I'm not gonna have to. I have to redo all that and now again. But yeah, that gets confusing. But honestly, like once that part gets set up and you're just on where you're like posting, like it's very. Like I don't want to say mindless because it's anything can kind of throw you off. But
it's very user friendly. I was pleasantly surprised. You can import a list from just about anywhere as a CSV or whatever, and it'll just send them out, and then you can track how many people unsubscribe every week because they're sick of hearing your Kickstarter update.
But it also, it also manages when people subscribe and stuff too. Like it just everything.
And you can share notes and other people. Like I said, it's much better than a regular mailing list. I was very pleasantly surprised. I do need to get better. Some people are super smart about how they put engaging content and not just kind of updates on the company, but like Mary was saying, do things differently, and then you get people to really want to actually, when they see it, they don't just delete it. They're like, oh, what's this person up to? So
yeah,
I keep forgetting to like talk about my life.
I'll have to second that because my most successful I don't know what you call it, post, I guess, long form storytelling was not about comics. It was about like some paranormal experiences that I had throughout my life. Like that just like got a lot of reaction, which was interesting, right? So I think the more you put personal stuff in there, the more engagement you can get.
Nice.
Blake will have no problem with that.
That's true. I'm a king of the overshare. But I also same though, like, because I'm like the king of that like 200, 300 play club on like my reels and stuff. But like post a reel about getting fucking fired, and watch your engagement levels like blow up. Like damn, like whatever. It doesn't last, but it's like it sure was. I guess it was still kind of about comics, but yeah, that was weird. It was nice too. It was nice. All the love. Thank you everybody, by the way, for all the love. If I haven't responded to your DMs, I'm sorry. There were a lot of them. And then I relaunched my show right after, so all the like, I hope you're doing okay DMs were followed by like, when are you free? I want to come on. And I was like, fuck, holy shit. Like we quickly, everybody's like, it's so funny because they're like, oh, it was September and stuff, and I'm like, guys, I am so broke. I was like, I have a month. Like I don't like when the month runs out and Riverside wants another $40. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see, but like
get some sponsorship in here. Hey, open for sponsorship.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to come on the show, pay for a month for Riverside.
Oh, there you go.
That's so skeezy. I feel dirty. All right. Well, you know what? Since you made me feel dirty, John Westhoff, let's fucking bathe you in baby oil. Let's talk about your campaign. That's what I meant to say.
He's lubed up. That's what.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Amazing.
Why do people wanted this? People asked for this to come back. All right, let's talk about John's campaign. I'm very into this because I've read a lot of John's stuff and I've been into his comics for a very long time since I saw him talk shit on Kevin Joseph's old show. And this is new. That I'm bringing it up here. This is a new entity. And
it is
this
because we didn't have enough titles and stuff going on. We had to throw another one in the mix.
Yeah, another title with 3 covers and 3 logos. All right, and so I used to run a design studio. We sold a lot of logos. There was a thing we did. That's 3 logos for the same project is insane. But
Hell
what
yeah.
is okay? And I know there's like some back matter. Right, there's these themes tied together, but so all right, so let's go, John. Right, pitch me this.
Here's the short pitch. Of course, like many heist comics, it starts with a group of ex-cons get back together to do one last final ultimate score. But we're doing a little bit of genre mashing, like Blake said. We've got 3 different covers. It's romance. Is it horror? Is it 80s action? What is this book? Co-writer and I, Aaron Down, we just decided we couldn't decide what the book was, so it's all those things. We're going to throw them all together, and we love all those things. And again, we love 80s and 90s over-the-top movies like, Army of Darkness and RoboCop and movies like that. So we're throwing it all together at you here. You can see by the great covers there's probably more to the story than just a straightforward heist. And like Blake said, if you've read any of my books, you know, there's a little bit of satire, a little bit of fun, a lot of comedy in my books. So this is my first time co-writing with someone. So Aaron Dowan in Catalyst Studios was huge in co-writing this book, and he did the actual awesome logos. So once he kind of churned out those great logos, that was before we even, you know, had any artists assigned. I knew we had something special there because he kind of nailed it with the themes that we wanted there.
That is so sick. So you guys, this started because you couldn't decide on what logo you liked?
So basically, I pitched it to Aaron. I had kind of a seed of an idea for a while, you know, kind of like a horror heist mashup. And I was teasing him because he has a heist book called One Last Job. And I was kind of teasing him about the name. I'm like, well, mine's going to be called The Final Last Ultimate, you know, Heist or whatever. I'm going to one-up you. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. That actually sounds kind of cool. So then the seed kind of grew. Aaron originally was the editor of the book, and he kind of liked the idea so much. I was like, well, you want to come on and co-write it? You know, I think it'd be a fun thing to do. I said, the idea is that it's kind of these different genres. And instead of just a variant cover, like I love my variant covers, we all do, but you know, you don't get much besides the cover. So we decided to kind of put some extra material in each cover. So you pick your favorite one or you pick all three, and you'll get more than just a cover. You get some bonus material. But it really started, I said, Aaron, you know, what if it was an 80s, you know, Saved by the Bell like type book? And he, you know, he nailed that one. I said, what if it was like an, you know, Fast and the Furious type movie? And then he churned out that one because he's great with logos. And I said, well, what if it had a little bit of horror in it? And then that was where the last one came in. And I said, okay, let's start writing it now. And then we found our artist. It takes place in on record, the oldest bank on Earth that we know of is in Italy. So it takes place there. Of course, you know, got to have a weird, spooky, mysterious setting for it to take place. So we got ourselves an Italian artist in Deborah Lancinisi to actually do it because she knows the landscape and everything. You know, she brought so much to the book, so I'm really happy with how it came out. It's 32 pages, all, you know, one story. We could go back to this universe if we want to, but we really wanted people to kind of get everything from one book.
Nice. I like a good Kickstarter one shot. I think it's smart. You know, and then if people dig it, like you said, or if there's a lot of demand for it, if your back issues sell out, you know, and stuff.
There you go.
Then yeah, you can come back to it. Kind of like what you do with child possession services. Is you guys do like your different arcs, and you've done.
Yeah.
You can kind of bounce around and keep telling that story. That's cool. I like this idea of exclusive back matter. I like that there's these 3 different versions. I like that there's 3 very strong covers. I think that's very cool, and also adds into, you know, the exclusivity of Kickstarter, the uniqueness of Kickstarter, but also it adds into this uniqueness of this one shot, which, you know, you are marketing as like the one shot to one shot them all, right? It's the crime comic to end it all. I have heard, you know, and I know it's been a slow it's been a slow campaign for lots of people, right? And I know you're still hustling here, but like I've heard crime comics is tricky on crowdfunding. I don't know of a lot of crime campaigns, right? I see we're like oversaturated with like horror, and you know, there's a lot of superhero stuff. I know, Mary, no offense, like I love your superhero book, but like there's, you know, everybody wants to write their own indie superhero universe and their own indie superhero tale, and horror's heavy 24/7. Why is it? We love crime. We love crime in America. We love crime running America. Like, why
right?
don't we like?
We love actual crime, but it's harder to get somebody.
Support crime.
Well, maybe it's too real, you know. That's too real. It's too realistic to what happens in everyday life. I don't know. But you're right. It is interesting though. Like certain genres, and I wish I had known this 3 weeks ago before I launched. But yeah, it is a tougher sell than others. We know the books. You know, we know what they are, Blake. Right? You know, the sexy books sell, the superhero books, the Cthulhu horror books, but you know,
those Cthulhu anthologies. No, I love Travis. I love Travis. No,
yeah.
but,
I'm in the next one. Hey, Travis.
Oh yeah, nice. I was in one. Like I can't talk.
Nice. Yeah. So you know, it's always a challenge when you hit that launch button. You know, you've seen our campaigns over the last 4 or 5 years. So you know, it's nothing new. But this one has been particularly challenging. Even a lot of our, you know, regular backers who come for almost every book, you know, haven't come back for this one. So it's something to think about in the future. If it doesn't work out, you know, Aaron and I will figure it out.
real quick to all those backers who haven't came back, you want to say something to them right now, John? Say something nice and sweet to them.
If you liked our other books, you'll probably like this one too, right? So why not?
I feel like it's still got that like Westoffian
And also, if you want to see Dropsticks of Doom end, I have to fund this one because I won't have any money if I don't make this one. You know how that goes.
I mean, yeah, it is the hard deal of the game. What have you, with this being a different campaign, it's a one shot, it's a new series. You're co-writing it, the unique structure of it, and rewards, and these aren't just simple variants, right? You have like an interior variants in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Have you done? Obviously, you've done something different in building the product and the book and the story and the campaign. Going back to like our marketing techniques, social media techniques, have you done anything like weird and quirky?
Well, this time, and thankfully, my co-writer is also a graphic designer by day, so he was able to do an actual professional video. Mine are usually pretty, raw and off the cuff because that is not my strength in any way. So I felt it was important to get a real professional-looking ad for this one. But yeah, other than that, the finances are what they are. So I'm already kind of stretched a little thin, so I wasn't really able to expand as much as I want. But again, doesn't mean we can't, utilize some of what we learned in the future and dip our toes into other areas of marketing. Marketing is always the toughest part.
Yeah, and it sucks because it used to be like, oh well, if you could throw money at it, if we had money to throw at it, that would be like we could just throw money at it. But then, as I think some people are finding out, you can throw money at it, and that doesn't always guarantee something. Like you can pay to have a press release circulate. Does it do? I don't know if it does anything. It's very hit and miss, akin to those Facebook ads.
Yeah, we
Instagram
love.
ads,
There's
stuff like that.
my background is in social work and psychology, and one of the psychiatrists I used to work with used to tell a story of like how psychiatrists select medication. Is if there's an old study where a chicken would hit a button and the feeder would come out, right? So he would say, okay, I got chicken feed. Well, if the chicken thought he was flapping his wings when he hit the button, then every time he hit the button, he would flap his wings because he accredited that. He said, we as human beings do the same thing, right? We think something worked in our minds, so then we continue to do it over and over again. We hear someone else do it. But honestly, there's so many factors involved in this shit. Like, finances are tough around the world right now. There's a lot of comics out there. Social media is a mess right now too. So there's all these factors you can't really control. So, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't think about these things, right? I think you're asking thoughtful questions. But at the same time, again, when you're a small company, you could spend 40 hours a week trying to figure that out every week and still, only get 100 backers on your next launch. You just can't always control all the factors. You just got to try to put out the best product you can, make it clear and concise what it is, and then hit that launch button.
That's pretty good advice, right? You got to have a good product, and whether you have to believe in your product, right? You have to at least think your product's good, because I mean, if you don't believe in your product, how the hell else are people? That would be weird. Like you're like, I don't. So you have to sell yourself, but then like you said, you have to press that launch button. You got to do it. You got to submit the script. You got to start writing. You got to hammer it out. So,
and we've had a great streak, in the last few years. So we've had a couple failures with a few books. That's going to happen. If you're always afraid of that, you'll never do anything, right? You'll just spin your wheels forever.
You've come back stronger, or you did like a dual campaign with the book that was harder to sell in another title maybe, and then got them both over the hump, right? So like I think that's a big strength with you in part-time comics as well. Is it's just like you said, you're like, well, fuck you, we're telling the stories that we want to tell, and you know what, if it doesn't fund this time, it'll fund next time.
I'm stubborn and I'm willing to go broke. I will give you that.
That's like the addiction of comics, I think, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing, like production side, storytelling side, whether you're doing IP work or your own, you get addicted to it, and then you just let it You just let it fucking do things to you.
For sure.
Oh, well, on that note, let's talk about Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. I
Great
really do
transition.
love Comixology.
A great transition. Like,
I'm sorry, Amazon Affirm. I know I'm late on payment. But no, Omar, I want to know like what happened, man, because you were doing like all this cool stuff with Metroid and like your and zines and like working with the community and getting these like artists together and just doing this really cool like gnarly stuff. Like when like some people are like, "Will Nintendo sue us?" Like, I don't know. Like, but no, you get like flown to the Switch parties. So I still like you live in this like weird nerd world of like gaming and storytelling, and then all of a sudden you are out with you're tweeting these vague posts about and it's like these like it was like a Comixology announcement. I remember because you were like you were sharing them, and I was like, what's this motherfucker up to? You know, and I'm like, I knew something, and then you dropped this announcement, right? And then you shared. I know you shared your book with a lot of press and stuff, and this thing is beautiful. This is a beautiful, and it's not a beautiful single issue. Okay, it's a 130-page graphic novel, and there are no lazy panels. There are no effortless pages right there. These are beautiful, beautiful layouts, beautiful splashes, insanely emotional moments. You know, and it's like you like made me emotional, and then it turns into like this sci-fi spaghetti western, you know, and then it's like and then you leave it, then it's like, oh, maybe there's more, and there's an epilogue. I mean, but dude, like, this thing doesn't just come together overnight. This was a strong premiere graphic novel from you with art that looks like it could be in a big 2 book. So pitch the book and then tell us how this magnificence came to be.
well, I got to give it up to the artist team because they are big 2 artists, right? There's Serge Acuna, who's working with DC. Raul Angulo did the colors for the Surge art, and he's done work for Marvel and IDW and all kinds of amazing publishers. Fabi Marquez is a rock star colorist from Brazil. She's done work for DC. And,
She's all over the place.
Yeah,
she's one of those like awesome Kickstarter warriors who like was like on all these big Kickstarter books and then started seeing like big indie publisher work and skyrocket. I love when that shit happens.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and I really hope that Malmora, who did a bulk of the work, the line work, gets his flowers and starts getting more work from bigger publishers too. He really rescued the book in a time of need because like Serge and Raul were blowing up and they couldn't finish the book, and so Mal came in with his cape and did like probably about 100 pages to finish it. Right? You mentioned it's about 128 pages. And he really rescued the book at a time where I was down and out and was thinking about like, do I even finish this thing now, right? But it caught the attention of a top 10 publisher, and we had a pretty good dialogue there for several months, and then ultimately it kind of fell apart. But that kind of gave me an intuition that like, okay, I've got something here. So the process with Comixology was like 18 months, dude. Like at one point I thought I was out because the guy I was talking to left to another company, which happens all the time in comics, by the way. Anybody who's out there who's trying to cultivate editor contacts, dude, it's like a merry-go-round, right? It's hard to keep up sometimes. You get whiplash. And so I thought, okay, the guy who liked this is now gone. And so like a year goes by, and then it's the strangest story in the history of comics and how I got slid in through the back door into Comixology, and then there was 6 months of contract stuff before the book launch, and so it was a process, dude. It was an arduous, at sometimes defeating process, making the book, pitching the book, getting rejected by a major publisher, and then landing with Comixology. It's been like a whirlwind roller coaster ride, but I'm so glad that I landed where I did. Like you were mentioning, $6 a month for the subscription, best value in comics. The graphic novel I'm offering, it's over 120 pages, and they're offering it for $6 or $7, right? $6.99. Yeah. Sometimes a single issue floppy with a bunch of back matter is $6 or $7.
Mm-hmm. Moisture wrinkles included.
I was just gonna say you're bagging on Amazon, but we can get you some Clearasil to put in your nose for that zit that popped inside your nose. Take care of that. Clear it right up, bro.
Hey, I love Amazon. I have no problem. Like I buy everything on Amazon, and I love my Amazon Kindle. I got a lot of, for real. I used to get shit when I would talk about Comixology and comics, and I mean when Steph Phillips's new like Comixology, but like big like these like people are dropping, and it's like, hey, obviously these are still, and they're like, oh, but like Amazon ruined Comixology. And then like I'm paying for it and still enjoying the service, and I'm like, and it like there was resentment in Comixology support, and as press, Pamela was amazing.
She's the
and
best,
like, dude. Yeah, fucking soldier of fortune and victory. But I did a ton of amazing interviews with her, you know, and it got to where like, you know, when I was popular and like doing steady shows, well, yeah, kind of, but like, you know, she was hitting me up like every week, like, hey, you want to talk to this person, you want to talk to this person,
bro. When
like,
I told her I was
don't have
coming
to
on
reach
here,
out.
she was like, what, he's back? I'm like, yes, he is.
Shut up. No,
Yeah, dude, she was all about it, dude. Pamela and Dustin at Superfan Media.
Yeah, Superfans,
my
Superfans
angels.
dope. That's
Yeah.
cool.
They're amazing.
I'm glad you had them in their corner, I'm glad they were in your corner. How long have you been pitching this? When did you start pitching this?
It might have been two and a half years ago
Okay.
when I really sat down, because I had enough pages done. I was about halfway where I was like, all right, I can demonstrate that this book is gonna get done. And so yeah, it was a process, dude. Like I said, I had a list of like 10 or 12 like editors and publishers I was targeting, and they changed so quickly that like, you know, like one of my mentors is Scott Snyder. He's like, I'll introduce you to so-and-so, and wrote her a really nice email, and she's like, no thanks, I'm already gone from that company, I've already moved on to something else. And God, it was like mortifying, right? But yeah, dude, it's been a ride, and I'm so glad that people are reacting to it, and they're telling me they want more. They want more of the female lead, Lisa. They're like, do I need more Lisa? Like, she's so badass. I'm like, all right, if I do more, you will get more Lisa.
I love Lisa, and I love their relationship, and I love how supportive she is, and I love how she's in the story still. I don't want to spoil anything, because
Thank you.
I was like, something's gonna happen, but I really liked what happened. But you know, the bigger the cast gets, Omar, the more I love the characters, right? And it was like everybody got the perfect amount of time. It was very smart with how like you staged the entrances of the crew and the accomplices. But anyway, I love Davis. Like, I love him. He's the coolest fucking alien ever. And like,
Yeah.
Al 3 is dope too. He's a cool little robot. And everybody works real well together. But it was just I was very attached to a lot of these characters easily, and I was just like, let's go. Yeah. And like I said, it starts out as a timely narrative of like, you know, when brown people are told they're lesser people, right? And it's like, do you get trapped? Do you get trapped under that fucking thumbnail of hardship, or do you fight it and get out from under it? And like Thomás, to get so far out from under it, you literally go past the thumb, past the atmosphere, into outer space, right? It's a beautiful thing, right? But it's, you know, very timely, right? It was timely when you wrote it, right? But it's even more so now.
Yeah, well, the way I structured it is, if you notice, like the things that happened to him as a young man, a boy, and a high school kid on Earth are mirrored exactly when he finds himself in outer space in this space battle with aliens and robots and whatever. It's socio-economic oppression, and he sees the same thing out in space. So yeah, it's, I would say, subtly, you know, sending a message. I'm not trying to beat anybody's head down with the, you know, politics or things like that. But to your point, I made this for young brown people to be inspired, that no matter what their conditions or what their world is like, that they can strive for something. And the forward to the book, this is very near and dear to my heart, was written by a real astronaut named Jose M. Hernandez. And he got rejected by NASA 11 times, and then he made it in on the 12th try. He did not give up, right? He was going to go stubborn, go broke, like you guys were talking about earlier. And I emailed him probably about 11 or 12 times before he said yes. Like once the book was done and he saw a copy of it, he was like, all right, this is dope. I'm in, right? It was serendipitous. And here's the other thing. He's from the same hometown as my dad. It's a little place called La Piedad, Michoacan, Mexico. And the synergy of that, and he has a movie about his life that's streaming on Amazon right now. It's exclusive to Amazon. It's called A Million Miles Away with Michael Pena playing the astronaut role. And so all these things just came together. So like I've been telling everybody, dude, it was written in the stars that this book would come together, that it would land on Amazon, that Jose, the astronaut, would do the forward, his movie's on Amazon, my book's on Amazon. It was just meant to be, dude. There was nothing that was going to stop that from happening. So I appreciate your comments, Blake. I'm really glad you got attached to the characters. What's cool is like the artist team also got very attached to the characters. And when we were done, they were all telling me like, dude, I'm going to miss Thomás. I'm going to miss Lisa. I'm going to miss the little robot monkey, Al3. And like, and then when readers say I'm attached and I want more and I want to see more, the hard part's going to be though, if I do more, is to, how do I give everybody their proper screen time, but introduce more new characters and raise the stakes and make it bigger and more bombastic, and yet still cling to the roots of what is a character-driven story?
Hell yeah. Well, I only have one problem with that is when you said if you do more. I would prefer you when you do more. That's what you need to say.
Well, thank you.
Thomás needs he needs more. I mean, I would go full trilogy, not even a sequel. He needs a full trilogy.
Well, I want to. I have outlines and I am working on things, but like I don't have a green light yet, right?
Yeah.
So I can't guarantee anything to anybody, but things are in the hopper. All the feedback is going into the lab, and I'm working on things to please the people that like it. And thank you to everybody out there who's read it, supported it, and left a rating. That's a big deal too. Is when you're done reading it, leave a rating, please. Even if it's not a 5-star rating, doesn't matter. Leave a rating, leave a comment. All that stuff really gets noticed by the people at Amazon.
And you don't have to write like a giant review.
No.
I've even been like, when I do, like if I post something on Fable, I'll sometimes try and post on Amazon too. But you can just like, oh, this was awesome and I had a great time reading it. 4 stars. I mean, like those even I think are even more noticeable. Like, oh, this definitely isn't AI. Someone's like on taking a shit, posting a review at the same time. Like in between emails. Like, but it's that's not AI. That's real. And so you don't have to be like a book reviewer. You don't have to have like a literary background. You don't have to be press. You don't have to be on these press emails. Like a great way to support books. Indie books, big 2 books, whatever books, is to buy them, right? Or to check them out from a library, to actually get them and read them and consume them. The second best way, which is free, is to leave a review on Amazon. I really like this, 4 stars. I would read this again. I would tell a friend to read this. That changes the game, and it changes it really changes the algorithm. Which I really did not know until recently, like how impactful that is. So sharing campaigns is huge. Like we all need to keep doing that. I know you can't review everybody's book, and even if it is like, I know we get busy, but like if you really like a book, check it out. And I do really encourage you to check out Major Thomás. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. So leave a review. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know if you like. It's like, okay, I guess if you like hate space and astronauts, you're like this may not be the book that's gonna win you over on space astronaut comics. But like, I don't. That's the only thing I could really see of someone being like this. Oh, I just couldn't stand it. It's like the art is so good. It's bombastic. Anyway, I know.
It's a character-driven story. So even if you're not into science fiction or you're not into space travel, it doesn't matter. It's got a universal coming-of-age hero's journey, little romance, right? So there's something there for everybody, man.
Definitely. One thing I want to talk about, because I talked to John a little bit about it. We mentioned like the exclusive back matter that's exclusive to his book. Omar, I noticed like you had a lot of dope back matter, a lot of cool pinups from like some of our indie friends, which I thought was cool. I thought Matt Harding did a few of them for you, like that was sick. And like Mary, we're about to talk about your new campaign, which is a special edition, which I got to look at a lot of, like, it has a lot of cool back matter in it too. Do you all know that so many indie creators don't know anything about back matter? Do you all know that, like, I've had so many conversations with indie creators where they're like, all right, well, let's just add a page. We'll just add a page. That'll be fine. No, it won't. You can't ever add a page. You can take away a page and add a page, or you can add 4 pages. A lot of people don't know that, right? So when you start playing the back matter game, right? Oh, I got five pages. This will be dope. Okay, well, no, you got 4 pages, or we got to add 8. And then if you add 8, then like when you print those, that's a bigger stack, more paper, more money. Heavier packages. Okay, so it's like the back matter is cool. You want your readers to get that extra taste, that extra love, and like now we're starting to see like digital deluxe editions kind of combating this, right? Like a higher priced PDF comes with some extras, maybe a cell phone background, things like that. But you guys all handled the back matter game well, right? Like whether it's like an intriguing collector game where like kind of John's playing around with, or it's this like we're relaunching a comic and we're giving you a lot of extra goodies, before the new issues come out, or like look at all this beautiful art that like my indie friends supported, and these little pinups tell their own story. How'd you guys come up with ideas? How involved were you in these kinds of, John kind of said it happened on accident. Like Omar, I don't know what like production on Comixology and stuff's like how if you get a lot of feedback, or if they ask you like, what do you want? We got this many extra pages, and Mary, like you guys basically got to do whatever the hell you wanted to do this round, right? But what's your strategy on back matter, and how come you're the only 3 people in indie comics who understand it?
I know that's not true. Mary, you start.
Well, the way we did it is because we have no chill. And, the great thing about Kickstarter and the great thing about original characters, original IPs, is you can kind of do what you want. And the flip side, so superheroes are always very popular, they're very timely. Everyone loves a good superhero story. But when you take away the capes and you take away the costumes, it is suddenly a much harder pitch to people because they're used to seeing that very Superman-y stereotype. And we're like, well, now we have to sell this world where like, hey, we did the Mutant Registration Act. It worked out. It's done. We're not messing with that. We're kind of working with this slice of life. And we're not even going to touch that. So the back matter was partially a way to get people more involved in, okay, this is how this happened. These were the first kind of people who had superpowers. But also to give them a little bit of insight into how this world worked, where we have our main character is a social worker, right? How does that look? There are a surprising amount of social workers we have found who love our comic. It's super fun. It's always very, very fun for us when someone messages us about it. But who does this? One of our pieces of back matter is our favorite is probably we wrote to an advice columnist. And a guy who can talk to animals finds out he moves in with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's cat hates him. Not even a little bit, wants him dead. And so he writes into an advice column, so what do I do about this? Because this cat hates me. And Cece, who's one of our team members, loves reading real life advice columns. It's one of her things. And so we wrote to a real advice columnist and we're like, hey, we have a really crazy idea. Can you entertain this for us, please? And he was like, yeah, I most certainly will do that. And it is one of the things that everyone who's picked up that kind of little back matter, oh, that's really fun. And we're like, Dr. Nerdlove's a real guy. He's a real guy. You can write to him. But yeah, we just wanted to spend more time there and do more things and kind of show off the history a little bit. And so that's kind of why we did it.
Yeah, and I think, that's one way to do it, right? Is it bonus content? Is it bonus pages? That's really important. And again, when you're kind of calling the shots, why not, right? You can't always do more story pages, right? It just doesn't always work out. But is there another way I can get information to people and make it fun? You know, we've done that before. And again, I think people don't do it enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to just do story pages. I know sometimes when there's a text page, people, you know, recoil in terror. I didn't come here to read. I came here to look at pictures. But I think that's a stigma that's long gone now. You know, Jonathan Hickman does it all the time, and all kinds of great writers. You know, if that's a way, without totally derailing the story, to get more information to the reader without making the book 40 more pages long, why not? But then, just have fun. Like Omar was saying, you have friends in the industry who do amazing art. They want to draw your characters. They want to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? It's a comic. It should be fun, and it should be packed, you know, end to end with good stuff.
Comixology really left it up to me in terms of page count and what I wanted to add for back matter. In fact, there's a version 2 of the book, a print version that has even more back matter. It has a little bonus.
I was going to ask
story.
if you actually cut it when you print to make it cheaper to print, but that's cool.
That is super cool.
It's actually longer, but if it comes out in print, Comixology sub-licenses to 3 different publishers.
Right.
And if it gets picked up, the file's ready to go, and it's going to be even thicker with 3 C's, right, John? I saw one of your tiers said thick with like 3 C's.
Amazing.
So mine's going to be extra thick with like 5 C's, right? But one of the things I did in my back matter was I added an educator's guide, because I'm really tight with this organization called Creators Assemble. It's like a group of librarians and teachers that are hardcore for comics and tabletop gaming. And so they were like, hey, you know, we can do an educator's guide for you. What do you think about that? I said, hell yeah, let's do it. And so there's 3 pages in the back of, hey kids, here are some key things in this story. What do you think about this? And it gives them like little topics and little questions to answer.
That's super cool.
And one of the prompts for the kids was, after reading Major Thomás, make your own playlist of music that would accompany this comic. And I'm dying to find out what these kids are putting together, right? Because Major Thomás was really born of Major Tom, the song by Peter Schilling, who, by the way, his record company gave me permission to use like some of the lyrics in the back that shows up in like
Cool.
in the climax, you know, when everything's happening. There's some excerpts from the song. Anyway, getting back to the educator's guide, I really wanted librarians behind this and teachers behind this, and that was one way through the back matter with the endorsement of Creators Assemble to do that. And if it comes out in print, man, it'll even get more exposure. So yeah, dude, I wrote my own ticket on the back matter, and I really hope that it comes out in print so that we get the extra thick version, man.
Nice.
And I think you can tell who's, no disrespect to anybody who doesn't do back matter. You can't always do it. It's expensive, etc. But you can tell really those who love comics, because we live for that shit, right? Like I live for the deluxe edition with all the shit in the back, and that's just what you wait for. You wait, you know, as your comics career to get to the trade or get to a collection, so you can put all the crap that you have in there and all the sketches and all the ideas. And that's the fun part.
Yeah, and just
I'm
like
with you. I agree.
seeing
By the way,
more
I
things.
gotta say hi to Dan real quick. So sorry, Dan. Thanks for tuning in, dude. I appreciate you. You didn't miss anything. I said weird stuff. We talked about cool comics. So I guess you missed some of that. But we got one more comic coming up soon that you did tune in just in time, and I interrupted the creator to tell you this.
That's okay. That's
So
all right.
this
That's all right.
The time is
hosting
now.
is hard, guys. Fuck.
It is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mary. I'm bad host.
You're fine.
I'm bad host.
You're
What were you
fine.
saying?
I was saying, I agree with John. I love back matter. I'm a little nerd, and I love knowing the lore. And I think that the indie community especially is just bursting with all of these amazingly talented people with all of these amazingly wonderful ideas. And I love seeing what their brains come up with and where we've landed and just what they're gonna, like, trying to guess what they're gonna do next, right? Like, yes, also, like, I didn't know we had a freaking Cthulhu Fast and the Furious out here, or I would have been all over that. Like, that's awesome. I love learning about Creators Assemble, which I would have never known if it wasn't in back matter, right? Like, that's a great thing. So you just learn more stuff and like get to like just see more things. I love it. It's so cool.
for a while in the fancier hardcovers and stuff, that was one of the only ways. Like if you really wanted to write comics, that was one of the best ways to like get a look at comic scripts. It wasn't until a handful of years ago, and a lot of writers found out they could do this to make easy money at cons. Bigger writers with bigger names, but they would print their own scripts and sign them and sell them at the table. And a lot of you'd buy like $10 signed or whatever. You print these at wherever you want to print them at, or print them at home, right? And like, it's not a comics, it's a stack of regular printing paper, but a lot of people would buy them just to get a look at the script, to be like Don Cates. I think Don Cates is one of the people who used to do it, right? So like, dude, for a second, say what you will, I know everybody's got a lot of hot takes about Don Cates, right? But he was the guy at Marvel for a hot minute, right? And if you wanted to get a look at what his scripts look like, you could buy one for $10 at a con table. Gail Simone started doing that. Would have stacks of scripts you could buy, and she'd sign them for you. And she did that whole big like comic school on Twitter thing a while ago. But yeah, like those fancy hardcovers, that's that it used to have like the line art, the colored art, the lettering, and then the script page. You got to see like everything, like for 50 pages of back matter, and you could like really go through the scripts, and you could see those moments where maybe like when Tom King just tells Mitch Gerads just make it look cool, right? And it's that does happen a lot, right? But it's when these guys start working together and you get to see that, but you also get to see like when they first started working together, like Snyder and Capullo, and Capullo even talks about how when they first started working together, he was borderline like fuck this guy, because Snyder was very descriptive in his scripts, and was like this angle and this, and Greg Capullo's like, you're telling me angles? Telling me angle? I'll bench press you angles, and it's just like, but he mentions that in interviews. He's like, I almost told Mr. Batman here, fuck off, and it's just. But that was like our only insight into that, and now it's pretty normative, right? Yeah. And it's just
the first I remember doing it was Kirkman and Bendis were the first I think I saw do it, and then they kind of lifted the stigma, because before it was like these are our precious scripts, don't nobody can look at them.
No one look at them.
But it was cool to see. Yeah, or see how much writers really don't do that they probably took, because most of my scripts will say, some of my panels are like 3 words, like just draw something. I don't know. He punches him, Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we got one more campaign to talk about, so let me pop this thing up. This incident report, I've read this before. I got to read this like when the previous issues were coming out, and I loved it then, because it's a very, very cool superhero. It's not like your normal superhero shenanigans, right? So while I'm scrolling through this page, so you guys can look at some of the gorgeous variants and stuff you can get with this new deluxe edition package. Mary, hit us with the pitch for this issue.
So I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but the short pitch is, what if the Mutant Registration Act went well? What if it worked and it did its job? So superpowers are a normal everyday part of society. Our main character, Anne, is a social worker. So you give her a call when you find out that your toddler can fly, and she hooks you up with flight lessons, helps you baby-proof your ceiling fan, which is always gets a really good giggle out of people. And she's a former field agent, and she gets a phone call saying that a former work partner of hers has been killed in action. And so she kind of rejoins the investigation going on with that, and they're bringing in like outside resources, and then there's like some like jurisdiction friction, and you've got a guy who's undercover, and then you've got Mr. Florida Man himself who likes Robin Banks and flip-flops, and so it is a ride. It's always really, really fun to give this pitch to people, and so this Kickstarter in particular is we're doing a reprint of issue 1 of our deluxe edition specifically, so 11 pages of back matter. Some like insight into our process and how we got there. Some of like the I totally blanked on the word. The thing that we wrote into Dr. Nerdlove, the advice columnist. Oh my goodness, the history of the world. Some like art promos, things like that. Just like some fun stuff for us. And so we're specifically reprinting that beautiful cover by Paulina Ganeschow, and I love her so much. I waited so long for this cover. It's so beautiful. It's actually on my wall behind me. And so we're gonna reprint it, give it like a little sexy UV spot treatment, some foil. And then Mr. Sunshine, Florida man himself, who does rob banks and flip-flops. Mark and Cece ran into Dominic at Animate Miami last year, and we had been wanting to do a Sunshine cover and wanting to do a Sunshine cover, and nothing like really felt right, and no one like really were like, ooh, this doesn't like grab us. And like from the jump, Dominic very clearly understood the assignment and nailed it in one.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I wish Crocs were that cool.
Yeah. Our little bird. So our little Phoenix
also,
bird.
Speaking of cool, this little dude.
I
love this thing.
I'm so
much.
in love with this little bird. So we also do, we've had a lot of luck on BackerKit recently, participating in campaigns for pins. And that was kind of our nod to our backers there. And then this, talking about backmodder, talking about wanting to be involved in the world. One of our things as tabletop gamers, we always want to invite you in. We always want you to come feel like you've got a seat at the table, that you're involved in the world. And so joining the ICA, you get like a mystery to solve. Like we've made a legitimate murder mystery for you. We print it out for you. We send it. You get access codes. We'll print you ID cards. These are real. The QR codes work. Like we want you to feel like this is something you can engage with, that you can be involved with, that you can invest in, because that's the stories that we love to tell, right?
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. This is your D&D lore nerd.
Yeah, this is our D&D nerd lore. And then, God, I love Ryan's art so much. Ryan Best is our interior artist, and he's worked on literally everything from indie to Xenoscope, like all kinds of things. Mark is, of course, our wonderful writer. I love him so much. And then me and Brian, you know, we exist. HDE is our letterer. Our editor is Claire Napier, and she is the fairy godmother of comics. If you're ever looking for someone who just understands the assignment every time, Claire. Also, shout out to editors. You should love your editors. They are going to be your biggest, like, and they should be. Like, we were really nervous to get an editor, I think, because there's like this kind of like, oh, I don't want someone to come in and change our stuff. Claire has been our biggest supporter and like the biggest fan and the person you always want in your back pocket. And you should love your editors. They will fight for you in rooms that you're not in. Dominic's an awesome local artist to Miami. He's worked with Disney, which was super impressive and very terrifying. Definitely understood the assignment. Paulina has exploded since we worked with her for the first time, and I'm so excited to see where she's going. She's doing like Wonder Woman now. It's amazing. And then Megan designed our little, I'm calling him Funshine Sunshine, because he kind of reminds me of the Funshine Care Bear. She's underpinned for us, and it's just been very fun.
So what prompted this? Why go for a special edition instead of an issue 4 or instead of a new series? You know, what made you guys want to come back and, you know, try and, you know, rekindle audience relationship with this book and bring new people in? Like, what was your strategy, thought process behind that?
So it's a couple of things. The first one being, we are doing probably our biggest convention ever next month in July, and we really wanted to have some new fans, and then kind of, because we've been doing so many conventions, really reward fans who were new to kind of get their hands on a book that we haven't had in stock previously. Like we don't have Paulina's cover. We don't have any deluxe editions anymore. We are completely out of them, which is a wonderful problem to have. Thank you all so much. But we are doing this big show, and it is going to be very, very fancy, and we do want to reward people for being new fans, to give people who maybe kind of came in the middle the opportunity to catch up with us, and the people that we're hoping to make fans of in July something to look forward to and have something like really cool and fun. The other part is we had to do a couple of rewrites on issue 4 in the back half of it, and we did leave issue 3 on a little bit of a cliffhanger that we're sorry, not sorry about. And so while that's gone, we still wanted to kind of keep you engaged and keep like, hey, we haven't offered this in a while. If you're new, please come engage with this. And then as the campaign goes on, we do have the first couple of pages of issue 4. So this is a nice kind of way to like, hey, you're still supporting us. We know you've been patient, you've been waiting, and we're real sorry about that. So we do want to share those with you thanks for supporting us. We do have another title, but that is also with the artist right now. So like we can't also do that. And it's like, we have incident report. We want to do incident report. We want more incident report. Like I said, we wanted to do a sunshine cover for a while, and this just worked out in that kind of perfect storm of we met Dominic. We're doing a really huge convention. We're kind of in a great place to re-engage a lot of folks and offer something that like, when we launched issue 1, this was Paulina was a stretch goal. We didn't even dream that we were going to be able to use our variant covers. So we never thought to spot treat the books. And I don't want to say every person who talks to us at a convention, but a lot of people talk to us like, oh, do you have, we do metal covers now. Oh, metal covers are really expensive. They're super cool. 20 out of 10 recommend. They're very neat. But just having something that's a little fancier, a little nicer, that isn't, we got to give you 40, 50 bucks, for some of these covers. Metals are expensive. They're very cool.
We're doing our first hollow foil cover. I'm interested to see how they do. Yeah, the metal ones are awesome, but they are pricey.
They are expensive, but and I love fancy covers. I do. Like, as a consumer, I will eat that up all day. I do. And I think Paulina, her art is so colorful and so vibrant. It lends itself so wonderfully to these moments. And then Sunshine is he's such a fun character. And being able to do something fun with someone from Florida, because that's where we're based, right? Who kind of understands this, that we can also then make a little bit fancy, is also super exciting. Because we're getting to kind of get our feet wet with that for the first time.
Nice. I think that is super smart because, especially in Kickstarter, I'm gonna say a lot of people don't know this. I think, but everybody loses money on Kickstarter. There's no one charges the actual money they need to really make the right kind of money and produce their book. In a campaign.
Don't tell our secrets, Blake. Don't tell our secrets.
but I'm just saying, it's everybody who's if you look at a campaign and you're like, oh, it's this guy made 10 grand, he's got it easy.
He made 10 grand.
Shit. He didn't make shit. He's got to pay for printing, and it's probably going to cost. And printing and shipping are more than likely going to cost more than what you planned on. And then something else is going to happen.
Packaging.
That's going to cost you extra money that you didn't plan on. But anyways, what I'm getting at here is in indie comics, it's a tough game because it's expensive to move forward with new releases constantly. Okay, even if 4 releases a year, right? That's so expensive and so much work on an indie comic scale solo creator. Okay, and when you get into a production halt, right? You've paid for art, but maybe the artist is behind or whatever reason. Do we stop? Do we stop everything? Do we halt momentum and halt production and wait until it's safe to continue? Or do you like what you guys at Attic Door did? Let's fucking brainstorm. We got shows coming up. We need stuff to sell at the table. We're out of issue 1, so we're gonna have to reprint something anyway. That is such a smart way to not accidentally fall into stagnancy, not fall into a production limbo, right? And it's because these things will happen. You cannot, no matter how perfect your team is, no matter how many times you win, something fucks up. And it's somebody's fault, maybe yours, maybe the designer, maybe the artist, maybe the printer, but you can't plan on these things.
Tariffs.
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes,
Blake's
weather,
buzz.
fires, me, backers canceling. Maybe your fucking check engine light was on last week and now your car broke down mid Kickstarter campaign. Okay, like these things happen. Okay, and so many people will go the safe route and shut everything down and apologize and will recoup when it's safe and figure out what to do. It takes a special kind of people to be like, hey, let's we got a lull. Let's figure something out. Oh, a #1 special edition. Oh, a quick Kickstarter campaign. Oh, now we have things to sell at a table for this big show. That's real fucking cool, and I think a lot of indie people should pay attention to that and think of ways to think creatively. It doesn't always have to be a new series. It doesn't always have to be the next issue, okay? People aren't going to like it if you reprint the same book 85 times, okay? Like, there are people that do that, and some people have found a market for it. Most people aren't going to follow you down that route, right?
Yeah.
But there are things you can do that are cool with your backers, you know, and this is one of them, you know, and the extra goodies you get, and the kit and the murder mystery and stuff. Like, I think that is so cool. And like Omar, I've wanted to talk to you about the teaching guide, because what Omar also didn't mention is it's got a student guide, but it's also got a teacher guide, and it's got a guide to help the teacher produce lesson plans around this narrative for the class. A lot of the Mad Cave all ages titles do this in their books. They come with tools for libraries and teachers to use in the circulation for learning materials. I think that's really smart, because guess what? If they do that, they buy 30 copies of the book or whatever, right? If the school gets on board with it and multiple classes get on board with it, right? Maybe so just on a copies moved note is kind of cool here, but also, like, let's think about it. Our industry is struggling. It's struggled for years, right? And it's tumultuous. It's competitive. Even when we're out here, like, let's all love each other and work together and lift each other up. It's a fucking competitive market, right? All three of these people and myself would rip each other's throat out and bathe in each other's blood for a book sale. Don't get me wrong. So I'm just kidding.
I might pull a zit out of your nose. I mean,
but you know, it's hard. And if you can get kids who would rather play Fortnite and play on their cell phones and scroll through TikToks than read, right? If you can get them to think books are cool, and then they tell their friends books are cool, and then they're riding bikes with the neighbor kids, and they're like, dude, we're fucking reading a comic book in like Miss Schaefer's class, and it's crazy, you know, like, that's real. And then these kids start reading, and then they start reading comics, and then one of them figures out that you can either buy more on Amazon or that there's comic book shops around, and then begs for someone to take. It's a slow process, but that's how cigarette companies got rich. They fucking got kids addicted to them. Get kids addicted to reading.
So
It's
we're gonna.
Please God do. Yeah.
It's so dumb that we make things hard for kids to do. Whether we
But are we
fucking
gonna
ban
are we
them
gonna
or-
print the books with nicotine now, or what are we doing?
Yes, go like what when Kiss used to put their blood in the red ink. We're gonna put nicotine.
I ain't putting no blood
the
in my
comic
comics.
book ink, and we're gonna make the edges harder. We're gonna put metal shavings in the edges, and then nicotine in the ink. I'm
okay.
pretty sure Marvel puts something in their ink, because anytime I try and read a new omnibus, I fucking get lit. Dude, it is the paintiest. I love Marvel, but like you crack open an omnibus, it is like it's like walking through a new construction on like a hot Texas day, dude. It's just like a blast of chemical fumes. But anyway, Omar, I think that was so cool of you to include, and also something I would encourage indie folk to think about, because I've read a lot of YA and graphic novels geared toward younger audiences, and I've seen like games like kind of like TTRPG elements made and stuff, and I've seen like efforts to get the kids involved with the mythos and the lore and the characters after, but not a lot of that move on like to get it looked at in classes, to get it stocked in libraries, to maybe get it looked at in all ages book clubs, and it's like featured in a Scholastic book fair. I don't know how that shit works with Amazon, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's these that's really something to think about, and easy back matter, and like I said, maybe it helps you sell some books, but also like you're giving back to the community in a way that's like really, really needed. And teachers and librarians need all the help they can get too, right? So if you give them ideas and resources, you're just
For sure.
that's real hero shit, folks.
It is.
Just throwing that out there. I'm off my
man.
soapbox. I apologize.
It's a good soapbox to be on, I think, is making
Absolutely.
sure kids can read and understand and are engaging with literally anything at this point, I think. I had no idea about this, so this is super cool. I literally Googled them while we were on the show because I want to check them out
Yeah,
because
they're amazing.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
And literally anything that gets kids reading, but especially comic books, right? And especially like within the indie comic community. I think that when I was growing up, all of us were growing up, how many X titles were there? 14, something like that?
How many are there now? Oh my
I don't
God,
even
it's
know,
this-
man.
It's
Like,
the same. Like, it's
but
a
like,
lot.
but maybe they don't like superheroes. But maybe there's a kid who's really interested in being an astronaut. Maybe there's a kid whose older sibling is really into Fast and Furious. Like, if there's something for everybody, then everybody can engage with something. And
Exactly.
like that, being able to put that in a school, amazing. Like,
I can't even. I was in grad school the first time I read a graphic novel as literature in a literature course.
Wow.
And it was a hybrid graphic novel, and it was an internment camp narrative, right? So and it was a great and powerful read. But like I was older, but I could not imagine like being checked out in high school and reading a graphic novel. I would have been hyped, or
I would've been
grade
hyped.
school especially. Just like whether even if you don't like comics, it's your high school asshole setting is, oh, there's less words here, this will be easy, right? But then all of a sudden then maybe it turns into something cool, because I have read books that were assigned to me where I was like, fuck this, and then it turns into like an eye-opening, like, oh wow, this book kind of rocked me and rolled me, right? And yeah, like I wish comics and people had more chances of that to interact with them. I was lucky. My dad bought me comics when I was a kid. A lot of kids don't get that. A lot of kids have had parents that think they're trash, that think it's a waste of time, that think it's not really reading. A lot of people they're in the band. They're getting banned now because of content. So people think that they're gateways into depravity and other weirdnesses, right? And so like, yeah, anything we can do to help kids need to read. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we're getting dumb. Humans are getting real dumb, and it's like, and it's just like, why isn't this happening? But I'm watching my dad get older and have critical, like, almost like can't critical think, and it's like it's freaking me out big time, right? But like, and I don't think he's losing it, but it's just like everything confuses him, and he doesn't understand like researching something or Googling something, and it's just like he just gets lost and accepts it. And that is one of the reasons why this year I've been reading novels so much more. Again, not that I don't think comics can exercise your brain, but I'm trying to exercise my brain differently. Because it's comfy. It knows how to read comics. It's used to reading comics. It very much knows how they work. I don't read prose a lot, right? So I'm getting back into prose, but it's just like I'm trying to exercise my brain to combat the ridiculous amounts of marijuana I coded in. But like it's there, but it's still like I don't think people think like that. I don't think people look at like, oh wow, like am I gonna be like that when I'm older? Or they look around and it's like, yeah, everybody knows that there's hate breeding everywhere, and we see that. But it's just like, do you see like it's not just hate, but when people they can't spell and they can't argue, they can't go from A to B in storytelling and how to like line their points up.
Yeah.
And we're literally trying to like make the young kids like raise them that way now, and that's what's scary. So yeah, we need to read. We need to support teachers. We need to support libraries.
There's a guy on Twitter, I can't remember his name, but he's my hero, because for Halloween he sets out a spinner rack in front of his house and he doesn't do candy, he hands out comics. to every single kid that comes up. And
Yeah,
towards
Aaron.
the end of the night, he's like handing out multiple comics.
Yeah.
Aaron,
and,
that's Aaron Myers in
there you
out in
go.
Oregon. Yeah,
That's
he's-
so cool.
Yeah. And
I
we
would've
need
been
more heroes
psyched.
like Aaron Myers putting
I'm not
comics
a toy
in
guy.
kids'
I just picked
hands.
up all these Transformers and like
Yeah.
he goes around. He buys collections. He's
Yeah,
on a
right.
different collector level. But yeah, like he has so many comics. Yeah, he'll take. He has like his own dollar bins he puts out for Halloween and stuff. I've thought about doing that, like taking.
Oh, it's
like,
so great, dude.
leaving some out just to get rid of some stuff. I've been looking for. I don't live in a great neighborhood, so like I don't see. I've never seen one in the
Make
wild.
your neighborhood great again, bro. Get the hat. Get the hat.
Don't get the
comics.
hat.
Oh,
Don't get the hat. Don't get the hat. Don't
But,
fall in that hole.
I've been like I've got some graphic. I've got a lot of trade paperbacks that I've upgraded to omnibus and hardcovers and stuff like Marvel, superhero, DC, weird indie shit, good indie shit. I would love to drop off in like the little tiny libraries. It's not, like I would love to. That to me would be worth losing money selling it for nothing and shipping it on eBay, right? Like so like I've been looking to like try and stock up some tiny libraries and stuff, and then I thought about making. I was like, man, what if I made one for like the neighborhood?
Yeah.
And then I was like, anyway, I keep thinking about it. I started gardening.
That's a
like,
great
give
thing.
me baby steps. I'm touching grass at least.
you
Sometimes
go.
I have an herb garden. We're growing tomatoes.
Okay.
That's
I got my
awesome.
grill.
Nice.
It's all
I
around.
got my
flowers
my,
around
my
grill,
cucumbers
so I
going,
can-
my green beans. If you want to share some notes.
Yo, I've seen the photos of like the meals that you cook, and dude, holy crap! Like I will send them to the ADM chat and be like, "Oh damn! Like, did you see the sandwich that Blake made today? It's dope." Like, shit.
And then other people are like, they'll message me. They're like, dude, like, you're gonna die soon.
Okay.
Like my friends. are
We're
like,
all
"You
gonna
can't
die
You
soon."
can't eat like this forever, Blake. And it's like, yeah, I can.
Good for
I'm
you.
gonna live forever. I'm a golden god.
Do it.
Just kidding. I'm not a golden god. I'm just a podcaster. Sorry. All right.
Dude, does anyone here remember when 7-Eleven had spinner racks? I mean,
Yes!
that's how
Yeah.
I grew up,
That's
right?
how I used
with
to buy
pocket
X-Men
change,
comics.
walking down to 7-Eleven and buying comics with pocket change. That's how I learned English, to be honest with you, dude. I didn't speak a lick of
shit.
English until I got in kindergarten, and the teachers told my parents, like, put comics and coloring books in front of his face, all in English. And dude, and Marvel didn't dumb it down, right? You learn how to level up your reading game and have a dictionary handy to figure out what the word opaque means, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've heard several people whose parents were in very, very similar situations where like I learned to read, or I learned English reading Wonder Woman comics. That is a thing. That is a real thing. But damn, like even people who speak English can't read it sometimes.
I think are all you guys on Blue Sky now?
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out your socials for Dan real quick.
I'm just gonna go grab the link and drop it. We're Addict or Media everywhere. If
Blue
it's a
Sky's
platform,
Blue Sky's a hard social. Why you gotta be like that, Dan? Damn. Blue
You
Sky's
know,
like,
okay,
At Blake
look.
Morgan, freak.net. .feed.
I'm still on Twitter, mostly as like hate binging.
Yeah.
But weirdly, it is one of my most accurate sources of news, which is a very strange dichotomy.
It's the recent drone strike in the that Ukraine did in Russia. If you
I
wanted,
learned
like,
on Twitter.
if you wanted to see the planes blowing up initially, that it still gets uploaded on X. Like it's
Interesting.
worldwide. It's like it's like it travels, and
It travels.
They're too high on ketamine over there to filter it out. So that's,
It's true.
Elon Musk. Sorry, Twitter was a great place.
Twitter was a great place,
I am
and
here. I
long
am
time
here
ago.
because of the connections I made on Twitter. I got
sure.
comic
Same.
book work
Yep.
in this industry, employed because of my following and because of Blake's buzz, and that was my main means of like.
And that's the reason we hate him the most. You ruined our place.
Yeah, it was a cool place, and nothing has ever like Blue Sky was popping for a little bit. Threads, I have a lot of fun on Threads, but nothing is like Twitter was when it was Twitter. It really was like it was a special place, and then they just did horse tranquilizer all day. And,
so like one of the reasons I'm willing to forego, like I'm willing to deal with like the .bluesky.social nonsense is I believe, and this could be wrong, so don't maybe fact check me. Blue Sky was made by some of the original Twitter devs after they lost their jobs. So like, Blue Sky is old Twitter, and I'm really willing to put up with a lot for that because, hey, I see bloops. Is that what they're called? I don't know. From people I'm actually following.
Yeah.
Like, I see notifications. I see them from Mike Shea. I see them from Blake. I see them from Gail Simone. I'm seeing the things that I need to see from the people I want to see and the people I want to connect with, which is the most important thing.
What an amazing thing to get from social media.
Right? Yeah.
The thing that I want?
I want to see,
That's what I don't
Hopefully
like
it holds
about
out over
Threads,
there. I don't know.
'cause Threads shows me what I want, but I don't want to admit that it's what I want.
Yeah, right? It's
'Cause I'm like,
horrible. That's the worst
I want a
one.
wholesome feed with comics, and it's like, no, you want fucking drugs and goth baddies. And I'm like, God
Oh my
damn it!
God.
And
Threads is the worst.
I don't comment on. I don't want to be a creep, right? And I know some women post that stuff and want to be commenting and stuff. But if you start liking every ass pic, that's all it's going to show you, right?
Right.
So I just enthusiastically scroll past them. That's what I say, and I'm like,
But they know,
"That's a
Blake,
nice
they know.
ass,"
Meta
and
knows.
I just move on, but I appreciate them being there. But now it knows that it knows.
But
I'm a
now it
secret
knows.
perv.
Now
Yeah.
it knows. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So like my favorite
late.
part of whatever the algorithm is algorithming is when I like wind up in random parts of the internet. I don't know what happened, but like in the month of March, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, all of it decided, you know what you really want to know about? You want to be a cheese connoisseur. That's what you want to know about. You're going to learn everything under the sun about cheese. And I'm like, did I watch one too many videos about baby goats and homesteading? Like, what? How did I land here? Like, I do want to know about cheese, as it turns out. But how did this happen? I was looking for comic books. I just want to know.
Comics and cheese, same thing.
I feel like I never get ads for comic books, really. Like I don't even really know what my ads are so weird because like lately because I talk about Riverside a lot and I've been trying to figure out Riverside, and so like I get Riverside ads and I'm like, you're fucking stupid, I pay for you already. Like
Dummy.
thanks for showing me an ad again. And so like I don't really understand my algorithm. Right, like I said, it's like Threads knows I'm fucking thirsty. Okay, thanks. Like, but it's just weird because it's like I'm posting about books and comics. I'm not posting like send me them feet, girl. Like it's not like let me get them toes. It's just like I'm weird on Threads, but I'm not that kind of weird. And it's like we know you sick fuck. It's like
Well, don't forget, it's Meta, so they know.
They know everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I used to joke about Google, like
Still
Google
no
was
AI
asking
girlfriend,
me.
though. We're halfway through
Wait, you just
2025,
wait. It's
Still
coming.
no AI
Like
girlfriend.
there's robot. I just sent Brian a
Wait till,
thing.
Like, I fucking co-host with my AI girlfriend and like just send
I-
comics. When it's like, oh my god, like Blake supports AI now that he can fuck it, right?
I will hate watch that show though. Like I'm terrified of robots and AI. I would hate watch that show. I'm not gonna lie, because I do kind of want to know what the robots
It would probably
think
be
about.
like the best producer. It would be like focusing, like popping everybody up when they're talking, giving everybody the big screen, have websites pre-pulled up. Like it would obviously like do my show better than I could like ever do it, right? And
Okay,
then, like,
but that sounds like a great bot though. Like that sounds
I mean,
like the
I
thing that AI is supposed to be doing.
Blake,
like,
you're AI proof. No one, no
Yeah, we
man,
can't replicate
robot
that.
machine could ever replicate you. It's impossible.
Speaking
I'm,
of AI,
I'm too random. I'm like the writers who when they like purposely sabotage their own social media posts so that anything vacuuming up their prose algorithm like gets ruined. And so it's just got like in the middle of it like random swarm of bees, what? And it's just like they put random verbs and adverbs and little like quotes from other like just at unstrategic moments to burden their prose.
Right.
And it's to basically akin to like obtuse watermarks artists may add now to like disrupt any AI that uploads art, right? So but it's almost funny because sometimes they read like real bad Mad Libs, and it's like these authors trying to make a stance, but it's kind of funny. But it's just, this is like the ridiculous. It's like we have to dumb, like, okay, using AI makes us dumb. Okay, using AI too much makes us dumb. The only people that can use AI correctly are people that can write, read, and edit well enough to humanize a template that it spits out. Okay, if you treat AI like a template and go through and edit it and humanize it, that's about the only way it works. Okay, but you have to have a skill to do that, and so it makes you dumb. And then now we have to pretend to be dumb so that it doesn't steal our things. Like, it has changed how we maneuver through social media. It's changing how we maneuver through media. It's changing how people get paid in media. Like, it's gnarly. All the shit that this stupid thing is doing, and there's still people like, well, we're gonna make our own movies, man. I can have Grok undress a model. Like, it's like, fuck you. It's so dumb, and it has impacted like all our lives, whether we want to, like, it's impacted the show. Like, I feel like all of you start talking about it, and then it's just like, that's it, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Let me just say, dude, the one thing I'm so bitter about.
AI, but
well, let me just close it off with this one thought, dude. I love Bluesky. It's so awesome. But somebody somewhere along the line decided to label me as an AI enthusiast and put me on some fucking block list, and I can't get off of it. I've written into Bluesky and said, I'm a human being that hires other human beings to make comics. Get me off of this AI block list, because I have legitimate friends who've been following me for 10 years who have done work for me. They're like, I can't follow you. You're invisible to me on Bluesky because you're on this block list. And if people have sent me screenshots that I'm on this block list, and I'm like, bro, I'm like the most anti-AI person there is. What the fuck is this?
You're gonna have to start
and like Bluesky won't help me, man. It's God, I hate it.
That's awful.
It is. It's terrible.
Have to start a second account
of the follow list. Like the beauty of Blue Sky was like if you're like a comics person, you get put on that follow list. But I forgot there were ban lists, and I remember people being like, I remember people getting like accidentally outed as like Nazi sympathizers. But they were literally like so anal on Bluesky. They were basically like moderating Bluesky on their free time, looking for like right-wing propaganda and calling it out. And there's literally like no life SJWs that like doing the Lord's work, right? I'm not making fun of them, but you got to be a special kind of person to be like a mod in your free time, you know, and like for no money or anything, right? But anyway, but they're like, because of like who they're interacting with, and they're like, oh, this person's like doing Nazi shit, and they're like, no, they're like reporting Nazi accounts, but it's crazy. Like one person thinks that they're like, oh, this is a bad person, and then they're like, everybody block this person, and it's not until like most people just be like, okay, block. Like very rarely will someone like click on it, look at it, and be like, oh, this person's not saying anything bad. Right. Like, so that is a weird thing about.
Dude, my profile says no AI, no NFTs, no crypto. Like, come on, like let's use
it has to be a scroll bot looking for those keywords. It's got to be like, I know some people got on those ban lists because they were like, they followed someone who at some point I do a really intense job of curating the people I'm following and who I'm looking out for, people I either want to work with or like, ooh, you're tweeting some weird stuff. I maybe don't want to associate this. And like, I me myself mentally flagged that. But like...
Yet you follow Blake.
Yeah.
And yet I follow Blake. Blake was actually like number one when we started talking about press. Blake was like number 1 or 2 on like my list of people to like reach out to. So kind of shot myself in the foot there, I guess. Dude. Sorry.
It was crazy. Someone at work today, they were talking. I work for Prana Direct Market Solutions now. I signed paperwork. I can talk about it.
Awesome.
But that one, Adam Freeman worked at Bad Idea and quit messing around with Bad Idea and started like a comic focused marketing firm, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff, and they have a really cool podcast where they nerd out with guests like this, but it's all retail industry. They talk like shit. It's a different kind of nerd out and a very interesting other side to like the comic book world that a lot of people aren't privy to. So anyway, they do cool talks too. Anyway, I'm working with them to like get their talent. I'm kind of like their press sort of person contact now. And I'm helping with some Kickstarter stuff, which is
Sick.
exciting. So yeah,
That's sick as hell.
I'm I don't know where I was going. Oh yeah, so at work today, I was having a meeting and someone was like, they told a client, they like hired me and they're like, yeah, they're gonna be reaching out and they're like Blake from Blake's Buzz, and I was like, what? Shut up! And so I could still like when Omar said that about Pam, I was like, what? Like it's
Dude, she was hype, bro.
I know people liked my show, but I also did a lot of people wrong. I have a lot of bigger named interviews that are now over a year old that I could find clips for and uses for, but I did too much at one time, and I didn't have any help editing and then running that studio, and I drowned. I drowned and like could only like do work, like the stuff that was bringing in money. And so it was embarrassing, and I felt bad, and like there's a lot of people that I talked to for an hour and a half that put up with me for an hour and a half, and I know we had fun and we laughed, and I talked about how great their books are and worse ways to spend an hour as a creator, but I just that weighs on me thinking it, like knowing it, like I just I feel like I wasted a lot of people's time. So even in the last year when I kept thinking about like I missed this like fuck. I was like, I loved this, and I was like,
we missed you.
I was
We
like,
did.
I kept thinking about coming back, and it was just like, like I
So,
felt,
like-
I felt like that guilt, that white fucking Catholic guilt that they brought me into as a kid. No one asked me if that's where like, do you want to be put into this weird sect of Christianity where you think about it every day even though you don't believe in it? Sure, pal. But like I just it messes with me. And so yeah, there was a crisis of conscience too, like thinking about coming back and like, but yeah, everybody's been really nice and I appreciate it. And
Yeah,
it's
man.
been when you lose your job and feel like a shit, and
Yeah.
it's very nice when people like are like, oh no, yeah, you did do good work,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're like, like when you're Tim Robbins, I used to be a piece of shit, but I'm not anymore. Not anymore. It's a lot
So,
of
like,
mistakes at Tremonti's, right? It's-
To say nice things about you and like make you feel bad about yourself even further. I always loved watching your show, being on the show. I always felt like I learned something or I was exposed to something I didn't know. I didn't know about Creators Assemble. I had no idea about Major Thomás. I had no idea. That is straight up my alley, right? I'm a South Florida native. This stuff is very important to my everyday, immediate culture. The first time you had me and Mark on, I think it was either right before us or right after us, you had on Mata Scoria and Will Allred. Fucking crossover division I had never heard of, and it is now one of my favorite titles. I like wait every time that man launches a Kickstarter. So like, you think of all the fumbles that you've had because we're all our own worst critics, white Catholic guilt, it's a thing, right? It's all that. But the indie community is also looking for ways to connect with each other, right? That's the whole purpose of things like Comixology and Kickstarter, is we want to connect with each other. We want to connect with other creators. We want to connect with fans. Maybe you have a lot of viewers, probably, who aren't comic creators, but they are fans. And being a fan of something, you just want to connect with other people who are fans of that, right? The best recommendations I've ever gotten are from people who were just like, gave me this crappy beat up copy of a book. And they're like, hey, I loved this, right? One of my favorite moments at a show, we had a very, very lovely young woman who came in, bought issue 1, came around the next day, bought issue 2, was super excited. She was like, oh yeah, I'm here supporting my friends. My friends are tabling. I like to go say hi to her friends just to be nice. Be like, hey, this is one of our first shows. We're going to make these connections, right?
Right.
She had given them her copies of the books. And they were like, oh, this is really cool. We really love this. They do covers for us now. Like,
oh no.
having those moments of connection wherever you find them, wherever you can have them, especially in a chat about comics, is the most important thing, because how you make those connections is how we keep this community alive. So whenever you feel like crapping on yourself, please remember that you are creating a space and a community for people to have and make these connections.
Fine, I'll just save it.
He's making comics great again.
Right? Make comics great. Oh god, I can't even finish that sentence without wanting to hurl. Actually,
yeah, we need a new
Oh.
T-shirt. We need a new Blake.
Let me tell you, I live in the heart of some of that stuff, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I want to like. Oh man, it feels so bad. It feels so bad all the time.
Cause yeah, I live in Kansas City, right? So like I'm in the Bible Belt, but Kansas City is like a typically blue city in the midst. So like I mean, if you drive 45 minutes away from Kansas City, really in any direction, you'll get it eventually. And so it doesn't take that far to find it. But like luckily, like I don't. There aren't a lot of like houses with like the Trump flags and the Trump sign, like on election time. Like I don't see a lot of.
Raiders flags? Raiders flags in Kansas City?
I definitely don't see
Come
a
on,
lot
man.
of Raiders flags.
Come on.
I wore my Ninja Turtle hat tonight because I knew you were coming. I was like, I won't wear my Chiefs hat. I will really, but I do have the Royals light because we're winning now, so I got the blue light going. But
All right.
but yeah, I'm lucky, so I'm not like faced with that as much as like other people are. Yeah, so it's sometimes easy. It's sometimes like easier to joke. I see the news and stuff, right? But I really don't. I don't see a lot of like old white dudes in their red hats, and like I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, and you would think like wedged between Missouri and Kansas, like you would think like I'm fucking like maneuvering through them like the fucking undead in The Walking Dead, right? You're like trying to get out, but yeah, it's pretty chill in Kansas City. We like to protest. We like to love everybody, and we love art in this town. Like
Love it.
It's a big art town, and I mean, art and artistry. It's just a typical blue, vibe more.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Kansas City's a pretty dope place, and we got good food. And we got a really good football team that kicks shit out of Omar's football team a lot, and that's fine.
0 out of 10, bro. 0 out of 10 for that comment.
I can't say shit because I was raised on the Rams, so like, there's
no, it's-
nothing positive I can contribute to this conversation.
I can't talk shit because we fucking blew the Super Bowl last year. Like we did not deserve to go to the Super Bowl. We got there, and a whole different team played in the game. But we're not gonna talk. We're not gonna talk.
I did hear about that.
We ate good food, and it was a fun season, and it'll be another good football season. I'm still not used to getting like excited. Being a Chiefs fan for my whole life meant getting excited for food, not football.
Okay.
Food was
Yeah.
what I was stoked for because I knew we were going to lose. I knew we were going to lose most of the season, or if we didn't, we'd figure out a way to when it mattered, right? And so like that was just but I knew like on Sundays we'd eat good food, and on Sundays if I tailgated at a game we'd eat real good food that we cooked there, and so that's what it meant to me. And now like we plan like even bigger dinners and stuff, and as the season goes longer and the winning and the playoffs, and then it's like when you get into the playoffs, then you got to plan like these even bigger meals, and then you're like, and then your Super Bowl meal when your team is in the game. Like I'm sorry, like if you like to cook and shit, you've never like planned that kind of like meal, right? So that it's just football is very food oriented for me, and I'm still not used to having like a team that wins. It's weird, and it's and I'm like, it's cool, but I'm just like, I remember like we sucked. My whole life we sucked, and I still loved them. It's like whatever, but
Like I said, I was raised in a
Sports.
Rams household and a Cubs household. So
Wow.
like,
Nice.
I was like, I just lose. Also, like, we have a hockey team, but like, actually, I hear they're pretty good. I don't know, but I hear they're really good. But like, I remember growing up, my mom and dad very, very like super big into football, and the Rams for a real long time really super sucked, and they probably still super suck. I don't know, but there was a couple of years where we went to the Super Bowl. There was a year we won. I was a teenager, and this is the closest to the second coming of Jesus that ever happened in my household. It was like everything stopped.
it's weird.
Everything stopped. We didn't go to church. We didn't the grandparents came to us.
Again, or just
like
that
no, I
Sunday?
mean
Like, just like,
I stopped,
we
but
won
like
the Super Bowl and we went full fucking heathen fam. No more church,
We had cooking.
slaughtering goats, bathing in blood.
I think if my father could have, he would have. I think the only thing that maybe like prevented that is like our priest was also super into football, so he would give sermons about football and then like wrap up mass early so we could all get the fuck out. We gotta go, like boom, and I'm like, you're a true Irishman. You understand like what it means to get out the door. Fantastic. But like it's a big deal. But that's another thing with community, right? Like when your teams win, like even if you just enjoy the food, like I don't care about football anymore. I truly don't. I was like, I can do so many things with my time that need to be done, or I can watch a lot of men give each other concussions, you know?
I
But
didn't know what you were gonna say for a second.
yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going with that either for a second.
I like to hang out. I can watch a lot of men give. Oh, concussion.
No, but
No,
if there was a
casting
thing.
couch scenario, I didn't know what was going on.
I was not sure how I was going to finish the sentence, so I'm glad that that's what happened. But if there was a food thing, if there was like a community thing, like, hey, we're going to have a Super Bowl party. Hey, I got a buddy. The Raiders are going. The Chiefs are going. Like, I knew you were a Chiefs fan. So I was like, oh, the Chiefs are playing. Oh, hey, let me like tune in so like I know how that's going to go on my Facebook timeline, you know?
Yeah. The
Like-
thing that oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The thing that hurts the most about the Raiders moving out of Oakland is the tailgate parties, which were legendary. I mean,
Yeah,
the
not
best
every
food,
team
the best
tailgates. Like-
beer, people coming together, meeting new friends. I mean, the rabid community of Raider fans just had their hearts ripped out because that's what they looked forward to on Sundays, is going into that parking lot as early as possible, cooking lunch, cooking dinner, you know, coming back after the game and firing up the grill again. I mean, that is all gone now, dude, and it's just devastating.
They're trying their best to get rid of it. They're not trying to like get rid of it in Kansas City, but they're trying to like outprice it. It is $100 for a parking pass at Arrowhead now. Or Yeehaw. I'm sorry. It's always going to be Arrowhead. I'm sorry. I'll never. I can't ever remember it. But yeah, $100 to go out there and park. And so like, you know, like back in the day, like people, like our family, like when we had season tickets, and like we would go, depending on who went out there one week, but we had this huge tailgating party. And so like we left at 6:30 in the morning. We were at Arrowhead by 8. And then like the 6 cars would all park next to each other. So like now you're looking for like a group of people that have to raise $600 to
Plus
do
tickets.
this now. Yeah, plus the tickets. So yeah, I don't understand what
No.
it's.
No.
I don't.
It's too corporate,
You
dude.
can't
It's way
take
too
tailgating
corporate.
out of the sport.
No.
I feel it's very special, and you also shouldn't make it to where like poor people can't tailgate. You know, like that's just weird.
Yeah.
Poor people used to go tailgate and not go to the game. Dude, poor people we used to like hang out. Like our tailgates were so big, you could go tailgate. And then I remember when like the first flat screen TVs came out, and you could actually like bring a TV.
Yeah.
And my cousin brought his like 40-inch like flat screen, and we like plugged it into a generator and watched the game in the parking lot, like on an antenna, like while like the family was in the seats, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
That's sick. That's so
I'm not
cool.
gonna pay $100 to do that. I'm sorry, I can't.
No.
I'm not balling that hard.
It's too expensive to do things, and like it's expensive to like things.
Yeah.
Like, which is I think part of actually why I've stopped reading a lot of big two books is like I used to have a really great pull list and a lot of really phenomenal titles. Now I'm like, I can't spend 60, 70, 80 bucks every Wednesday on these pull titles. But I can take 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, 30 bucks there to support comic, like indie folks doing their dreams, and then get a crap ton of additional content. Sometimes there are digital stuff, so I don't even frankly need to take up my wall space. Like it just lives forever in my computer.
Yeah.
Like,
I buy comics from 2 places: Kickstarter and Comixology with the subscription. Done. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Like I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it costs a lot of money to support.
It does.
To support Kickstarters. It's not. I'm not complaining about the amount of money campaigns need to succeed, or like the rising cost of shipping and production. But I'm just saying, you know, you back 6 or 7 campaigns a month, That's a bill. That's a big bill, and you're gonna
It
feel
does.
that. All right. And I know a lot of people try to do that, which and that's so cool. So yeah, supporting like for real, however you can. And again, like times are tough. Like and Hoopla and Libby and Comixology and Global Comics. Okay, like these are great ways to read indie comics, and Global and Comixology are both $6 or $7 or $6.99 a piece, I think. So like, again, something to consider. I couldn't tell you like who has the best library between like the digital outlets.
I'll
I'm
say
behind the
Comixology.
game, but they're both good. Yeah,
I'm inclined to lean Comixology.
They definitely have Comixology originals on Comixology.
Yeah, baby.
But like I said, you also get, if you are an Amazon member, you can kind of play around with some of it included with your Amazon Prime membership. There's also like cheap novels and prose and stuff you can check out and read for free through Amazon. So yeah, I really encourage to check out, like, Amazon is not the best, right? They're not like the golden standard of business, right? And everybody's rich and evil these days. I know that, right? But there's a lot of great titles on Comixology, and at a time where buying books is really expensive and a lot of people are struggling, a lot of people don't have extra money, that $6 a month is won't break most people, and the amount of time you can spend reading for that $6 is the payoff's astronomical.
$7 a month is like a cup of coffee at this point. And that's, we can talk a lot.
That's all.
Yeah.
2.5 Snickers. Snickers are like $3 a piece.
Deep fried Snickers. Kansas
I
City
haven't
man.
had to buy like a Snickers bar in a while, and like, shit, you're right.
Yeah. Like candy is stupid. So expensive.
Everything is stupid expensive. It's like I had to do like a monthly tally for like the dog and all of his nonsense, and I'm just like, hey bro, you eat better than me, and that doesn't feel right. Like, that doesn't feel good, man. Like, what the shit, dog?
Yeah.
Like, he is a spoiled little baby boy, but like, still, like, when you are like between jobs, or like you're just getting laid off, or people aren't getting raises, or it doesn't matter if people are, because everything costs a shit ton of money for no reason.
Yep.
$7 for hours and hours of entertainment of stuff you're familiar with, but also new things. So like you said this earlier, Blake, about how people were kind of like giving you shit about like supporting Comixology and all that stuff. And frankly, fuck that. Fuck it. Just straight fuck it. Like, I will talk all day long about like the evils of capitalism and why Amazon is like the scum of the earth. However you have to get to comics, just get here. I don't care. I never want to tell somebody like, oh, you only read Big Two. Oh, you only read Superman. I don't care what you read. Just enjoy something. Right. Just read something.
No, yeah. Gatekeeping doesn't do anything good for anybody. But like, I mean, even I remember, like, even if you were like one of the people who got laid off, right? Like, okay, I can see that. You have a cool Comixology job, you get laid off, right? That fucking sucks, okay? Because I do remember the layoffs, and I do remember that was a big deal, and that's what prompted a lot of the discourse, right? Sure. But then we also, because of all that, we got Distillery, and Distillery is pretty cool, and much like some publishers, the ebb and flow and opening and closing of doors of publishers, and where some people rise up later, right? Distillery coming about was a cool thing, and I think it's pretty fucking rad that like Comixology is still putting out cool books, and Distillery is still doing some cool things, and a lot of great people that worked at Comixology are over at Distillery now. So, I like I said, I didn't take any offense, and I was just kind of like, there was a couple moments where I was like, I was like doing all these Comixology interviews, and I was like, oh, you can read this on Comixology, and I was like sharing Comixology posts, and like, and I was like, oh, do people think I'm some Amazon shill? But then I was also like, man, they didn't give me that fucking Amazon money though. I'll do whatever you want, boy. I'll fucking share any link.
Look, if they're willing to pay you like referrer fees?
I
don't know, man. Like,
but I was just saying, like, I can, I can be bought, and I want to be. So
Yeah,
please,
for sure.
Please buy me and sell me.
Not to go too inside baseball, but they were so fair with me and generous with me during the contract stuff and how we structured the payments, because there's various streams, whether it's subscription or direct, a la carte purchase. Yeah. And dude, it was such a great experience. So as a creator, highly endorse. Am I telling you to buy everything you need in your life from Amazon? No, but if it's comics and you have a limited budget, it's a great deal.
I'm a creator saying they had a good experience with a publisher. To me goes a mile and a half in a hailstorm. I don't even know if that's a fucking saying. That sounds Midwestern as fuck. I'm pretty sure I
wasn't going to call you out on it, but like
I don't think that's a real saying, and it is now though. All right, but it's just like there are so many bad stories, and there are so many people that like have like big books at like publishers, right? And they act like chummy with these people, and then later you'll find out like no, I hated my fucking life. Then I got screwed out of all this stuff, or like talk to Ben Templesmith about 30 Days a Night, right? Like you think, well, your comic gets made into a movie. That's the dream. No, I'm not for everybody, bro. So this industry can be mean to you. So yeah, Omar, if you come out and be like, yeah, my fucking dreams kind of came true. I got to tell the story I wanted to tell, and everybody was very supportive, and I didn't feel misled. I didn't feel taken advantage of. I didn't feel like I had to sign or that was it for me. Like that's huge. That's huge. Good things to hear, dude.
They were open to a couple of my pushbacks, right? They were very like open-minded, and like there was give and take. I mean, it was a wonderful experience, and I can't recommend it enough. But yeah, I did have my heart broken a couple times by a couple other places. Yeah. So that was like a breath of fresh air. Dealing with these people, and they appreciate hustle, dude. They're watching. They see how hard I'm working, and they're like, hey, good job, dude. And they get it. They get it. There's not. It's a smaller team now, to your point, Blake. They did go through some layoffs, but the people that are still there, they love comics with their whole heart, man. It's just it's a skeleton crew, and they have Superfan helping out, and they're making it work, dude.
Yeah, there are a few, when you think about working in comics, there are a few ways to do it that isn't necessarily being like an artist or a writer or a creator, right? And I found that out and kind of lived that life for a while, and I'm still living it, and I'm finding out you kind of move around and go from place to place, but it's nice knowing that like hard work pays off, and that hard work is seen in the industry, because it's I think a lot of times a lot of people in this industry feel like they aren't seen, even if you're running your own Kickstarter campaign, or maybe you got a direct market release, but no one bought the issues. I think a lot of people deal with not being seen and that fear of like, will the hard work pay off? And so I fucking love stories like yours, dude. Like I love hearing that the hard work pays off. I love hearing that chasing the dream wasn't stupid, because
it only took 12 years.
Hey.
It only took 12.
No one tells you comics is like the slowest moving medium, like ever. Like that's.
But sometimes a turtle wins the race because they're focused.
It's true.
Yeah.
What did John say? I'm stubborn and willing to go broke.
Yeah.
Like
I
if
love
you're
that.
stubborn, I'm gonna steal that. I love that. If you're to switch, like Incident Report didn't start as a comic. It started as a novel. Then it was a novel series. Then it was a television pilot. Then it went back to being a novel. Then it was going to be a movie. And then Mark kind of smacked us upside the head and was like, make it a comic. So like before we even got to however long it took us to make this comic, it was so many other things.
Yeah.
And all of those things taught us something, right? Yep. But the hustle is real. Like we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have the community that we have. I wouldn't be sitting here on this channel tonight. We wouldn't be friends with Mike Shea or Kevin Joseph or again Rob Multari or anybody, right? Like we wouldn't be able to have these conversations, and like it just would be different. And in hindsight, I wouldn't want it any other way. Yeah. Like with what's going on over at HBO, I'm kind of glad we didn't submit a pilot pitch, because there's no way I would have kept creator rights to my show. Like, there's no way on this earth.
Right.
And like, how many times, to Amazon's point, how many times are you going to get this Kirkman Invincible crap? Like, that's never going to happen to anybody but him, right? Maybe the boys. Maybe that's the other thing that you get, but like, even that's not what it is in the books. It's not as dark, from what I understand, because it's a little out of my depth. But like, the hustle's real, man.
Yeah.
It's a weird industry. I guess I've heard all creative, like the whole creative world, like comics is pretty tumultuous, but like once you start getting into Hollywood, once you look, you know, like the big movie productions, or you know, like movie shoots, TV shoots, you know what, like it's all terrible, and it's all terrible, and it's all intoxicating, right? You get these stars in your eyes. You're like, I'm telling stories. I'm doing this thing. You wake up every day. You're like, I'm making comic books every day. It's not that I don't feel that this job is slowly killing me, and that I'm underpaid, and that my boss doesn't care about me, and you know. But it's like, I'll make comic books every day.
Yeah,
you know,
man, it's living the dream.
And I lied to myself for months and months and months, and like, so yeah, but I said this too. I made a short about it the other day. It's you know, as bad as it is, as hard as it is, it rewards you like as intensely, and even more so. And yeah, it has the community, like particularly like the indie comic community. I've talked to big 2 creators, and I've had like, you know, I've talked for everybody from like someone who has their first Kickstarter to like Brian fucking Bendis. He was on my show, right? And like, so, you know, I've talked to like a good mixture of everybody, but there's, you know, even Bendis got it. Like, you know, Bendis used to do fucking weird noir zines, right? You know, like that he drew before he even wrote shit, you know, and it's like, he knows that, like, he even knows like the magic of indie comics. 'Cause like it is competitive, because everybody's trying to get their book looked at, and everybody's trying to get their book seen, everybody's trying to get their book sold, right? And there's so much on the shelves. In that sense, it's competitive. But like, man, if you ask Omar for like, oh dude, like, man, will you share my campaign? Like, I'm hurting, you know? Like,
yeah, dude, of course.
It's just like, you know, there's little stuff like that when the community's like there for each other, or like, or I know you've seen it when like people are like, when there's like an hour left to go and the campaign needs $1,000 and everybody's sharing it, and the whole community's like, oh, like, come on, like, just, and everybody, you see it like $5 at a time, like everybody starts back in the digital, and then maybe someone will see it and buy like a art, you know, or a sketch, you know. But it's just like, but you see that, and it's just like in that the final moments, like this campaign might surge past and like and make it, and it's just that's a cool feeling.
It's so cool.
Even outside of indie, dude, the hustle is real. It's just a little bit more private, right? I get a lot of DMs going, dude, can you vote for me for the Ringo? Can you vote for me for the Eisner? I'm like, yeah, dude, no problem. Like, my ballot's still open. I got you, you know. I don't think I've ever said no to anybody in that circumstance, because I know what it's like when you need a favor. Like, when I'm saying, hey, read my book, leave me a rating, like, that stuff's important.
Yeah,
Speaking
I've
tomorrow
never reached
is
out.
the final day to vote for your Eisners, so you vote tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or make sure you do it like, I don't know when they actually cut it off. I'm sure you could vote in the morning. It might be cut off at like midnight or 1 a.m. But yeah, tomorrow's the final day. And I do, like, I'm very, very excited for Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman and the Pedestrian from Magma Comics. I got to talk to Joey the other night. I'm not even fucking around. No one paid me. I love that book. I'm voting for it. It's up against crazy competition, but it deserves its spot. And like we kind of talked about, you know, like reaching out privately, like the campaigns for like Ringos and the campaigns for Eisners. And it's like, you know, there are a lot of people that don't realize that like a vote that doesn't take you that long, like, could really impact the creator's life going forward. And Sean and Joey are looking at a moment like that could literally change both of their careers. Like,
they're working so hard, those two guys.
Yeah.
And good for them.
Hustling. They like we talk about hustling, and we talk about like the messaging and the mailing lists and stuff. Like, they're out there doing it, and it's man, they make me tired. I'm like, I get their DMs, and I'm like, fuck, I need to promote my show like this. Damn,
Yo. That's how I feel about Mike Shea launching like 4 or 5 Kickstarters a year. I was like,
dude,
hey man, Do you sleep? Like, just like I know him and Ryan are just a powerhouse of a team, and they're like very united on their vision. And I've worked with Ryan. We've worked with Ryan Mendoza a couple of times on a couple of projects. A+ artist, phenomenal, just picture perfect professionalism. Just to shout him out very quickly as well. But I was like, you got a family, man. You got a job. Like, do you sleep? Do you like? How do you handle this? And he's just like, I don't think about it. It's okay. I was like,
Yeah, well, look what like Pat Shan and Space Between's doing. They're doing monthly
crazy.
releases on Kickstarter, and he's got
insane.
He's got a production crew and he's got a fulfillment. He's got a production crew and fulfillment center like in his house, and these dudes like work out of his house. But I mean, they're doing it and they're fulfilling it. They're keeping schedules. The books are good. The art's good. Like it's
amazing.
And they have a mixture of like not safe for work and like cool fantasy titles. So it's like they're marketing on the not safe for work, but they're doing other stuff. Yeah, they're doing big things. But he has a whole crew, and they've figured out like how to dot the I's and cross the T's, and it's cool. When I say indie comics is magical, it really is. There's nothing like this. Like people have to push their own books when they come out from publishers still, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so like, I see those guys hustle, but like watching people hustle like on a Kickstarter campaign is pretty. I love watching you motherfuckers squirm like you're on a hook. Yeah, I love it. I get off on the trauma. It's great.
Those moments before, I think it was issue 2 maybe, where like we hit like a lull. Yeah. And we didn't fund quite as quickly as we did with our first run of issue 1. And it was like, ooh, we were stressed. Like, we were like in 3 different computers, all like refreshing the page and like, crap, who did we not reach out to yet?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What was the name of your roommate in college, your second year? Like, who do you make? And we have amazing friends. My poor roommates at the time when we were launching these first couple of Kickstarters, they're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, Kickstarter stuff. I'm like, do you have to use the whole kitchen table for that? Like, do you got to do all of this? Can you get the fuck out of here? Like, can you go someplace else?
The worst with Kickstarter is like when you have legitimate friends and family that like comics, but they just completely ignore you, your campaign, or they go, oh, hey, that's so cool. And then you have these strangers who don't know you from Adam, and they'll pledge at $50 or $100. It's like, how does that work?
And no matter who does it, at the end of the campaigns, like 5 people will reach out to you and be like, oh, I didn't know. This. I wish I knew it was live. I want to go. And I still don't know if it's algorithm fuckery or if it's people saying happy birthday on the posts, like when people are, I really appreciate everybody saying happy birthday yesterday, when you're really saying that because you're like, I know about 500 people didn't tell me happy birthday yesterday. Right. And then you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, happy birthday. I kind of feel like that's
a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
I think conventions have actually done a lot for us in getting like more consistent backers, right? Nice. So like our team in particular is in kind of this weird void where like we like comics, we like indie comics. My mom does not give a shit. Not a single care in the world. Bless her, love her. She's so supportive. I think she has bought literally every single item we have ever produced. She has not read our book. Right. Like, she has not read it. We did like a special, like, ooh, we ran out of variants. We'll do a sketch cover. Bought a sketch cover of CC's title. Didn't read it. I was like, fantastic. I'd love to talk to you about this. This is great. But you go to shows and then met several wonderful fans who were like, we're going to hit that $500 mark. I'm going to back that tier. And we're like, okay, babe, like, of course you are. And then they do it. And we're like, oh shit. Like, you were serious. Thank you so much. But also like, how do you like our stuff that much? Right? Like, but getting to have those moments with people is also like what makes it totally worth it, because especially post lockdown, even on a team and even in like interviews like this, it can be so isolating. Like, yeah, Ryan lives in North Carolina or Maryland or Massachusetts because he was moving for a while. We don't really know where Ryan is. Like, Claire is in England. Like, we don't know. But we get to go to shows and like meet people and talk about people and get excited. And it's a also, if you haven't like, I mean, I know you go, but like go to more because if you're feeling like you need a battery reset, shows will do it for you, man. They really will.
It's weird as like a drink because it drains you and it like refills you like.
Oh, it's so tiring.
It's so sucked. This Comic-Con, I was so bummed because my shoulder was hurt, and so like I brought gear like the first day, so I had like my camera and mics. Even though I didn't go as press, I just went as me. But I was like, maybe I'll get some footage and like, but I didn't really bring any books or anything. I didn't buy much because I didn't have any money. But like my shoulder was so bad, and I remember like I went and like sat down for a while, and like I like couldn't get my bag off I couldn't move my shoulder to like get my bag off of it, and I was like, uh-oh. And then so I called her, got a ride home. I was like, hey, come get me, I'm done. And like they were parked on like illegally to like I was like waiting.
Oh yeah, dude, the front of that convention center is terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
And so I'm like, I just had to do it. I had to like get my backpack off to like get in the car, right? And so I just did it, and I was like, I made like the most pathetic whimper. It was like I like got my backpack off, and I was like, and it was just like, and it hurt so bad, and I knew. I was like, uh-oh. And then like the next day, I really wanted to go, and they had this clerks panel, and I pulled out my clerk comic, and I was gonna have all these dudes sign it that were there in Kansas City, and I was so stoked. And I woke up the next morning, and like I got dressed, and I took a shower, and my arm was real stiff, and like I had 2 books, no gear, and just my camera, like barely any weight in the bag, and I couldn't get the bag on. Like I couldn't get my arm to move. So anyway, I didn't go, and I was like, and it did, like even in pain, like I was like those 2 days of cons, like I was like, there were people there I wanted to see and stuff I wanted to do, and it really bummed me out. And so yeah, even when you're like hurting and know you like need to sit it out, that's just stupid. Like comics, I love comics, but it really is it's such a bad relationship. It really is. It's just like I know he hit me, you know, and like I know he shouldn't hit me, but like I also know I was being loud. I was really loud that day, you know, and it was like, shut up, Blake. Like you can be loud, and it was like, but I was really loud, you know, and it was just like, and it's just like, oh, he won't do it again, but he will. But it's also, I know it's not like that, but it is. But I mean, I don't know, going to a job every day fucking sucks and is mentally unhealthy too. So I mean, I don't what is it? What is a good relationship in America anymore? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
What is it? It's fucking 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm live streaming, talking about relationships on a comic book live stream. What happened?
I mean,
I don't know.
If not, I was gonna be playing a video game or like packing for a work trip, and I'd much rather do this than pack for a work trip.
No, I would too. I would rather
like,
talk to me than pack for a work trip. That is true.
I don't want to. Like, I'm excited to go, but I don't want to go. Like, I gotta like get on a plane and go. I don't want to do that.
I just want to think about like waking up tomorrow and having 2 Switch 2s delivered to my house.
That is so dope. Like,
this guy right here.
That is so sick. That's so dope.
What did you
get any game? Like, which games did you get? Yeah.
I got the bundle with Mario Kart, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That game's gonna last us 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Just like the last one did. I've got Donkey Kong on order. I don't think that one releases until next month.
Yeah.
I got a Pro Controller on order. But then my Switch library is huge already, and it's gonna all transfer right over.
Yeah,
so
like everybody has a ton of games.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked for. I would really hope. I'm hoping that you can get them in the fall, and I'm hoping I'm caught up.
I think so.
Or at least like I can get my maybe Amazon Affirm a Switch 2. I'm very excited for the new Pokemon. I recently really got into Pokemon, and the new Pokemon looks really cool, and I would love. I'm also really hoping they do like a new Pokemon Switch 2 edition, like with a paint job
for
on
sure
it.
they will.
Oh, for sure. They're gonna milk that for all it's worth.
This is like another Pokemon Z or whatever. Like, so it's not.
This is Legends,
it's Legends, so it's not like the normal Pokemon game that would get like a deluxe console. So I don't know, like that kind of all my.
But
dreams
it's
get
coming
flushed
eventually.
away.
It's gonna
Yeah.
come. We're gonna
Dude, the Scarlet one, the one that came out a couple years ago, the new OLED with like the Scarlet Violet, like I would buy if I mean like if I had fuck you money, I'd buy one of them in a Steam Deck right now. Just
I thought about it when it came out, and I quit that game so hard, so viscerally, so immediately that like I have not been able to go back. No fault of the game. The game was lovely. I enjoyed playing it while I did. But I was playing it over Thanksgiving weekend, and I was like, oh, that's a weird-looking bird Pokemon that I haven't seen before. That's a fugly fucking color. And I went on with my life.
Was this shiny?
It was the first shiny in my entire life that I have seen in the game, and I ran past it. And it was completely gone when I went, because I saw immediately, like, the next thing I saw, I was like, oh shit. And I was like, I'm done. Fuck this. I will eventually not be mad at this anymore, and I will go back to it. It hasn't happened yet, but it was real fun.
I've been reading a lot, and I've been finally getting back into comics. Part of that was relaunching the show and getting having to prep for the show. But I played Fire Red, and I sunk so many hours into it, and then I found out how to like hack my Pokemon from like a ROM to like real Pokemon Home to use in the game. And so like I like transferred my Pokemon from Fire Red, and I was like, that's fucking dope. Like they all look like new, like all level. So like, and then but I haven't been playing as much, and then work got stressful, and then I lost my job. But then dude, I got fired, and I was finally like, I'm gonna fucking play Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I bought Dragon Age
go!
for $20 on sale like a while ago, and I was like, I've been unemployed I'm technically employed now, but like it's like 3 weeks, and I still like hustling and relaunching the show and then having meetings and shit. I still have to play games.
Every Saturday, I think to myself, all right, today's the day. I'm going to get in there for an hour or two. I'm finally going to beat the Metroid Prime, even though it's going to be hard as shit, and I'm going to die 100 times, but I'm going to do it today. It doesn't happen. Everything else gets in the way.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be.
It's hard.
It's weird. I find time to read. But it's video games aren't like that. I mean, I guess depending on what kind of game you're playing and what platform, but like, reading, you could sit down for 5 to 10, 6 minutes is what like the book apps tell you. Like, try 6 minutes a day, like it'll change your life. But like, you could sit down for 10 minutes, maybe read a chapter real quick.
Yeah.
Or like if you're in the bathroom, read a chapter in the bathroom, right? And it's just it's different if you like. Like, oh, let me get my Switch, take my Switch to the bathroom, or it's like, let me fire up my PS5, I'll play video games for 20 minutes.
Right.
It just doesn't work like
20 minutes isn't
like
enough
that,
to get to the
really.
save point
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I can grab a single floppy and read it and just go about my day. Like, oh, I've got to sit in this dentist's office. Let me flip through whatever.
Right,
I've got to do no. But like, if I'm booting up Dragon Age or Baldur's Gate, like, that's what I'm doing with my day. I am trying to figure out how to get out of the Underdark.
After we game today.
Yeah, there's no. That's what I'm doing for my afternoon. Like,
Right.
But then, and I say that, I'm like, man, I'm so busy. But then, like, dude, I've been watching so much fucking Gundam. Oh my god, guys. I'm not busy. I'm not fucking busy. I'm unemployed. I'm like partially employed.
Fun employment.
I'm
Fun employment, yeah.
I have some money coming in, but not enough, and a lot of free time. So yeah, I'm fun. I'm
There's-
gardening and I'm trying new things.
but also like when you're in that space when you're looking for a job, right? 'Cause, like we had talked a little bit before the show. I lost my big kid real world job back in December, and thankfully that got sorted out fairly quickly. But there is something that is on top of the general dumpster fire of the world when you're trying to do what it is that you do, whether it's to interview or to make comics or to write. Getting told that, like, hey, you actually like are just going to get rejected from job after job after job after job. It is bad.
Yeah,
just in the world and for your mental health. Like, it is like there were nights where I was like, I got 17 rejection emails today. Hey, Brian, do you want to drink half a bottle of wine and play Minecraft? Because this is mentally what I'm capable of doing right now. So, like, if you got to do what you got to do to be semi-sane, do it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't garden. The dog will not allow it. Frankly, if it is within mouth height of him, it's food. Like, I can't do
like
it.
Mine like I legit caught clusterfuck Bruce, like who's I love him, but he's all over the place. Everybody thinks my dog's on the spectrum, like our family. Like they're like, he's fucked up in the head, like, you know. And he does get real nervous and anxious, and he's dumb, but he's also smart too. And I catch him sometimes, and he goes out there. He never eats them. He never takes a bite, but he'll go out there and he just kind of like.
There he is.
Sniffs the
There he
flowers.
is.
That's
No,
Coco.
is that Bruce? I was saying that's not Bruce.
Yeah, that's Coco. But yeah, Bruce they like sniff the flowers and hang out on the deck, and like when the hummingbirds start coming around, like they kind of watch the hummingbirds and shit, and it's just like yeah, that's kind of so yeah, it's pretty relaxing. But I'm not going crazy gardening. My sister gave us some extra tomato plants. I got 3 tomato plants going. I love BLTs. I would love to. It'd be cool to have like BLTs. I think it'd be cool to make like your own salsa and hot sauce, like grow all the peppers and shit. You know, I'm kind of thinking that for next year. But anyway, an herb garden. I do a lot of barbecuing. I love steaks, and like every time you buy meat, thyme and rosemary it's another $6 if you buy fresh herbs. And so like I got 2 kinds of thyme growing. I bought a big rosemary plant I can start taking from already. And it's like everything's growing and rooted, and
dude, get some Ninja Turtles ooze and pour it into your garden and let's see what happens, man.
And now that you're not spending that $7 on thyme and rosemary, Comixology subscription.
Right? Yeah. Now I can subscribe to Comixology again and have well-seasoned steak.
Exactly.
And guys, I've been having fun talking, but it's getting late.
Time to wrap it up.
And
We tried.
I know one of us has a long day of gaming tomorrow.
Half a day. I took half the day to unbox and really get in there. But yeah, let's do a last.
Are you gonna do like a video and stuff? Are you gonna try and do Switch content or?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like you have like an opportunity to like be in on it, but there's a lot of people like how many Switch unboxing videos are gonna get?
I've already seen like
tomorrow,
5
right?
today.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to like do weird or like take your shirt off or something. You got to do something different to like stick out with your unboxing. Then it turns into a whole fucking production. Then this unboxing just to look at your Switch has turned into a whole day thing, and you don't even get to play it. So yeah, fuck that. Just play the damn thing.
I'd rather do that. But yeah, man, let me know when you're ready for the last round of plugs and appearances and all that.
Yes, real quick, I want to remind people, and I've been being real good about this, but any campaign we talked about tonight, any book we talked about tonight, in the show notes, there are links. You can get right to the Facebook or right to the campaign pages or right to the Amazon Comixology page to check out Major Thomás. And so I really do encourage you guys to do so. And if we haven't said it enough, I would also encourage you to check out Comixology Unlimited. It's a cool service. There's tons of cool books. Like for real, $7. Try it out for 1 month.
$6.
Dude,
It's $5.99. The first month is free. Month is free,
hey.
and then it's $6 a month after that. So,
dude, that's dope. Everything else gives you like you get like a free week. Like I have a free trial for a week.
Full month,
a whole
dude.
month.
Full month.
Yeah, dude, try it.
Full
See what
month,
it's like.
yeah.
It's the app is good. The reader app is good. The files download quick. Lots of good books. I can't recommend it enough. And also please vote in the Eisners.
Comixology is actually going to have a presence this year at Comic-Con San Diego. So,
Have they not had it previously? Because that
they have
feels
in some years, and then they haven't in other
Okay.
years. But listen, I'm going to be at Comic-Con for anybody out there listening. I'll be speaking on 3 panels. I can't say what they are yet, but 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. I'll be around rocking the Raiders gear, the Nintendo gear. I'm not hard to find. My website is theforcemedia.com. That's got links to all my social media. I use the same handle everywhere, just like Addict Media, is the same handle everywhere. Omorales81, any platform, even gaming platforms. So hit me up, dude. I'd love to get your thoughts on Major Thomás or anything else that I've done.
Hell yeah, folks, it's good. It's real good sci-fi. Got a real good message. Lots of hope, lots of love, and lots of feels, and I also like some good firefights, some good space shenanigans. Like it's a
There
wild
were explosions.
sci-fi romp.
There were
It looks
explosions.
dope as hell. I'm
That
actually
is
like super
crazy.
excited to just dig into
thank
this. Like the splash cover looks sick.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this
dope.
just looks and I am obsessed. I don't know his name yet, but the little monkey robot. I am
Al3.
obsessed with him.
Al3, yes.
Al3, I am excited. I am so obsessed.
Well, listen, I'm going to be back in your campaign. I'll be back in John's campaign. I'm going to go for the thick tier with the 3 C's. It's all good.
Awesome.
you.
And Mary, where's the best place to keep track of you all and Attic Door and all that good shit?
Best place to keep track of us is going to be on Facebook or Instagram. But we are, as I said, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Bluesky, basically anywhere that has a handle that is not TikTok, because I'm a dirty millennial who doesn't understand TikTok algorithms. But also, if you're interested, we have a Substack, we have an email list. Please follow us there. That will always have the most up-to-date information. We email out weekly, usually. And also, as I said, we have a marketing department, so there is a dog tax in all of our messages from Substacks. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I'll always support dog lovers and good nerds, and all of you at Attic Door are those kinds of people. Both of you, it was great. Omar was so awesome to have you on for the first time, man. And for real, like, what a great fucking your first official release. You know, like this. I don't think you could have asked other than like a Jim Lee cover.
It's my dream. It's my dream book. Like when people ask me, like, if you could do any book, any character ever, what would you do? I'm like, I already done it. It's called Major Thomás, and it's $6 or $7.
Honestly, if I knew nothing else about that book, I would buy it for that. Like, what's your dream book? I already made it. Like, shit, man. Like.
That's doing it.
That's the best endorsement you can give someone. Like,
I mean, it took me 5 years to make it, and it was hard, but I got it out there, man. I just kept pushing. Either I was gonna go broke or I was gonna die of stubbornness. So there you go.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do either, I guess.
Yeah, I'm also super excited for you to get a print version.
You didn't go that broke.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I'm not into buying Switch to, like, I was gonna buy. A couple books were on sale on Kindle today for $2, and I was like, should I? No. It's not like that bad. It's just I'm gonna owe the bank of mom and dad too much fucking money. That's what sucks.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you $100 if you wear some Raiders gear on one of your podcasts. You let me know which one. I'll hit you up on
PayPal. Done. Fuck yeah. I'll take my shirt off and wear a Raiders.
No.
You're like, no.
PG-13, bro. All right.
I put like Raiders helmet stickers on the nips. Be like,
no. It's got to be like a proper jersey or a hat or something, man. All right. Let's make that deal.
I have no shame. I'd think about it.
For $100, I'll wear a lot of sport team hats. Yeah, that's not.
Again, I'll play fantasy football and rename my team. I don't know. I quit playing fantasy football because of fantasy football drama, but I'd come back maybe to think about it.
I don't do that stuff. I love football, but dude, I cannot deal with fantasy football. It's a
lot. It's like another job, and it's I know why some people get into it, and it does make watching some of the other games more fun. But yeah,
sure.
It's too much.
No, that was the one thing. Even when I was into football, I'm like, the best part about D&D is all of the parts about D&D, but it is that at the end of the week, at the end of the session, I can walk away and have my own private thoughts about D&D. I don't have to go watch my friends play D&D to figure out what's going to happen in our next session. I can just do what I want, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that would be kind of funny to like DM a fantasy league element into fantasy campaign.
Very sure that somewhere on it's wrestling. So it's not exactly the same. I would say fantasy Dimension 20 just did a thing with some sports stuff that I did not follow because sports stuff.
Could you imagine making your party like do a fantasy draft in like a tavern for the story? I think that would be fucking hilarious, and have it last for like 3 hours, and they have to like really pick like dwarf lineups or some shit for like dwarf rugby. Oh, I would do that.
I would do
it.
it.
Never let me.
I would do it.
Again.
I'm also now thinking like we have a character in Incident Report who loves hockey, and I'm like, shit, maybe he's in like a fantasy hockey league. Like, crap.
It can happen. It can happen. All right, before we go into fake fantasy drafts, but I want to encourage you, check out these campaigns, check out Major Thomás, follow all these guys on social media. They're always great, supporting other indie comics, supporting the community. You know, just they have cool things to say online. It's nice to have nice things in your timeline, I think. So I really encourage that. Check out the Eisners. Make sure you vote. We got one. I got to do it too. I always have to wait till the last minute to do everything. But yeah, so I'm going to do that tonight, and I'm going to go eat some food. Hey, love more, hate less, read books. Wednesday nights at 9. I'm going to be here every fucking Wednesday. We're going to talk. We're going to nerd out. It's going to be weird. I'm going to say too many things. I'm not going to know how to end a show and just keep talking and talking and talking, because that's what I do. But for real, I would love to have you back. I think next week we should get the stream back up on Facebook. I really appreciate helping out with following the page today. I'm sorry I spammed everybody. But I think that will hopefully fix the problem for next week. So hopefully we get some new locations. I got some cool guests for next week. Got some cool guests for the rest of the month. So I'm really excited.
Awesome.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Mary, I hope you have a great rest of the campaign.
Thank you so
I know
much.
you're already funded, but let's chase those stretch goals. And I hope you guys get to print a whole bunch of cool books for this show that you're going to. And Omar, very, very cool about your SDCC news. Dude, I hope you have a blast. And I had a blast talking to you tonight on this panel. So like any panel is real lucky to have you, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks for keeping it extra thick with me tonight, man.
Always. All right, babies. We're going to get out of here. I'll see you later. I forgot where the stop the stream button is. We found it. All right.